हो रहा है वो सराहनीय है। भाइयों और बहनों, भारत की आजादी के 75 वर्ष पूरे हो चुके हैं। अब देश अगले 25 वर्षों के नए संकल्पों को सिद्ध करने के लिए आगे बढ़ रहा है। ये 25 साल देश के प्रत्येक व्यक्ति के लिए अमृत काल है। प्रत्येक राज्य के लिए अमृत काल है। इस अमृत काल में हमें विकसित भारत का निर्माण करना है। भारत विकसित तब हो सकता है जब देश का हर नागरिक, हर परिवार, हर राज्य इस अभियान से जुड़े। भारत विकसित तब हो सकता है जब खेत में काम करने वाला किसान हो या फिर उद्योगों में काम करने वाला श्रमिक, सभी का जीवन बेहतर हो। भारत विकसित तब हो सकता है जब खेत में फसल भी अच्छी हो और फैक्ट्रियों का भी विस्तार हो। और साथियों, ये तभी संभव है जब हम बीते दशकों के खराब अनुभवों, गलत नीति रणनीति से सीखें, उन्हें फिर से दोहराने से बचें। हमारे सामने यादगीर का उत्तर कर्नाटका का उदाहरण है। इस क्षेत्र का सामर्थ्य किसी से कम नहीं है। इस सामर्थ्य के बावजूद ये क्षेत्र विकास की यात्रा में बहुत पीछे रह गया था। पहले जो सरकारें थी उसने यादगीर सहित अनेक जिलों को पिछड़ा घोषित कर अपनी जिम्मेदारी से हाथ धो दिए थे। इस क्षेत्र के पीछे रहने का कारण क्या है? यहां का पिछड़ापन कैसे दूर होगा? इस पर पहले की सरकारों ने न सोचने के लिए समय निकाला, मेहनत करना तो दूर की बात रही। जब सड़क, बिजली और पानी जैसे इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पर निवेश करने का समय था, तब उस समय जो दल सरकारों में थे, उन दलों ने वोट बैंक की राजनीति को बढ़ावा दिया। इस जाति, उस मत मजहब का वोट पक्का वोट कैसे बन जाए? हर योजना, हर कार्यक्रम को इसी दायरे में बांध करके रखा। इसका बहुत बड़ा नुकसान कर्नाटका ने उठाया, इस हमारे पूरे क्षेत्र ने उठाया, आप सब मेरे भाइयों बहनों ने उठाया। साथियों, हमारी सरकार की प्राथमिकता वोट बैंक नहीं है। हमारी प्राथमिकता है विकास, विकास और विकास। 2014 में आप सबने मुझे आशीर्वाद दिए, मुझे एक बहुत बड़ी जिम्मेदारी सौंपी। मैं जानता हूं कि जब तक देश का एक भी जिला विकास के पैमाने पर पीछा रहेगा, तब तक देश विकसित नहीं हो सकता। इसलिए जिनको पहले की सरकार ने पिछड़ा घोषित किया, उन जिलों में हमने विकास की आकांक्षा को प्रोत्साहित किया। हमारी सरकार ने यादगीर सहित देश के 100 से अधिक ऐसे जिलों में आकांक्षी जिला कार्यक्रम शुरू किया। हमने इन जिलों में सुशासन पर बल दिया, गुड गवर्नेंस पर बल दिया, विकास के हर पैमाने पर काम शुरू किया। यादगीर सहित सभी आकांक्षी जिलों को इसका लाभ भी मिला है। आज देखिए, यादगीर ने बच्चों का 100% टीकाकरण कर दिखाया है। यादगीर जिले में कुपोषित बच्चों की संख्या में बहुत कमी आई है। यहां के 100% गांव सड़कों से जुड़ चुके हैं। ग्राम पंचायतों में डिजिटल सेवाएं देने के लिए कॉमन सर्विस सेंटर है। शिक्षा हो, स्वास्थ्य हो, कनेक्टिविटी हो, हर प्रकार से यादगीर जिले का प्रदर्शन टॉप 10 आकांक्षी जिलों में रहा है। और इसके लिए मैं यादगीर जिले के जनप्रतिनिधियों को, यहां के डिस्ट्रिक्ट एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन की टीम को मेरी तरफ से बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूं। आज यादगीर जिले में नए उद्योग आ रहे हैं। केंद्र सरकार ने यहां फार्मा पार्क की स्वीकृति भी दे दी है। भाइयों और बहनों, वाटर सिक्योरिटी एक ऐसा विषय है जो 21वीं सदी के भारत के विकास के लिए बहुत जरूरी है। भारत को विकसित होना है तो बॉर्डर सिक्योरिटी, कोस्टल सिक्योरिटी, इंटरनल सिक्योरिटी के तरह ही वाटर सिक्योरिटी से जुड़ी चुनौतियों को भी समाप्त करना ही होगा। डबल इंजन की सरकार सुविधा और संचय की सोच के साथ काम कर रही है। 2014 में जब आपने हमें अवसर दिया, तब 99 ऐसी सिंचाई परियोजनाएं थी जो दशकों से लटकी हुई थी। आज इनमें से 50 के करीब योजनाएं पूरी हो चुकी हैं। हमने पुरानी योजनाओं पर भी काम किया और जो संसाधन हमारे पास पहले से थे उनके विस्तार पर भी बल दिया। कर्नाटका में भी ऐसे अनेक प्रोजेक्ट्स पर काम चल रहा है। नदियों को जोड़कर सूखा प्रभावित क्षेत्रों तक पानी पहुंचाया जा रहा है। नारायणपुरा लेफ्ट बैंक कैनल सिस्टम का विकास और विस्तार भी इसी नीति का हिस्सा है। अब जो नया सिस्टम बना है, जो नई तकनीक इसमें जोड़ी गई है, इससे 4.5 लाख हेक्टेयर भूमि सिंचाई के दायरे में आएगी। अब कैनाल के आखिरी छोर तक भी पर्याप्त पानी पर्याप्त समय के लिए आ पाएगा। साथियों, आज देश में पर ड्रॉप मोर क्रॉप पर, माइक्रो इरिगेशन पर अभूतपूर्व बल दिया जा रहा है। बीते 6-7 सालों में 70 लाख हेक्टेयर भूमि को माइक्रो इरिगेशन के दायरे में लाया गया है। कर्नाटका में भी इसको लेकर के बहुत अच्छा काम हुआ है। आज कर्नाटका में माइक्रो इरिगेशन से जुड़े जिन प्रोजेक्ट्स पर काम चल रहा है उससे 5 लाख हेक्टेयर भूमि को लाभ होगा। डबल इंजन सरकार भूजल के स्तर को ऊपर उठाने के लिए भी बड़े स्तर पर काम कर रही है। अटल भूजल योजना हो, अमृत सरोवर अभियान के तहत हर जिले में 75 तालाब बनाने की योजना हो, या फिर कर्नाटका सरकार की अपनी योजनाएं, इससे जल स्तर बनाए रखने में मदद मिलेगी। भाइयों और बहनों, डबल इंजन सरकार कैसे काम कर रही है, इसका बेहतरीन उदाहरण जल जीवन मिशन में भी दिखता है। 3.5 साल पहले जब ये मिशन शुरू हुआ था, तब देश के 18 करोड़ ग्रामीण परिवारों में से सिर्फ 3 करोड़ ग्रामीण परिवारों के पास नल कनेक्शन था। आज देश के लगभग, ये आंकड़ा याद रखना, हम जब सरकार में आए थे तब 3 करोड़ घरों में, आज देश के लगभग 11 करोड़ ग्रामीण परिवारों के घरों में नल से जल आने लगा है। यानी हमारी सरकार ने देश में 8 करोड़ नए ग्रामीण परिवारों तक पाइप से पानी पहुंचाया है, और इसमें कर्नाटका के भी 35 लाख ग्रामीण परिवार शामिल हैं। मुझे खुशी है कि यादगीर और रायचूर में हर घर जल की कवरेज कर्नाटका और देश की कुल औसत से भी अधिक है। और जब नल से जल घर में पहुंचता है ना, तो माताएं बहनें मोदी को भरपूर आशीर्वाद देती है। हर दिन जब पानी आता है, मोदी के लिए उनके आशीर्वाद बहने शुरू हो जाते हैं। आज जिस योजना का शिलान्यास हुआ है, उससे यादगीर में घर घर नल से जल पहुंचाने के लक्ष्य को और गति मिलेगी। जल जीवन मिशन का एक और लाभ मैं आपके सामने रखना चाहता हूं। एक स्टडी में सामने आया है कि भारत के जल जीवन मिशन की वजह से हर साल 1.25 लाख से अधिक बच्चों का जीवन हम बचा पाएंगे। आप कल्पना कर सकते हैं, 1.25 लाख बच्चे प्रति वर्ष मौत के मुख में जाने से बच जाते हैं, तो ईश्वर भी तो आशीर्वाद देता है साथियों, जनता जनार्दन भी आशीर्वाद देती है। साथियों, दूषित पानी की वजह से हमारे बच्चों पर कितना बड़ा संकट था, और अब कैसे हमारी सरकार ने आपके बच्चों का जीवन बचाया है। भाइयों और बहनों, हर घर जल अभियान डबल इंजन सरकार के डबल बेनिफिट का भी उदाहरण है। डबल इंजन यानी डबल वेलफेयर, डबल तेजी से विकास। कर्नाटका को इससे कैसे लाभ हो रहा है, आप लोग तो भली भांति जानते हैं। केंद्र सरकार किसानों के लिए पीएम किसान सम्मान निधि योजना के तहत 6,000 रुपये देती है। वहीं कर्नाटका सरकार इसमें 4,000 रुपया और जोड़ती है, ताकि किसानों को डबल लाभ हो। यहां यादगीर के भी लगभग 1.25 लाख किसान परिवारों को भी पीएम किसान सम्मान निधि के लगभग 250 करोड़ रुपए मिल चुके हैं। साथियों, केंद्र सरकार नई राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति लाई है। वहीं कर्नाटका सरकार विद्या निधि योजना से गरीब परिवारों के बच्चों की अच्छी शिक्षा में मदद कर रही है। केंद्र सरकार महामारी और दूसरे संकटों के बावजूद तेज विकास के लिए कदम उठाती है। वहीं राज्य सरकार इसका लाभ उठाते हुए कर्नाटका को देश में निवेशकों की पहली पसंद बनाने के लिए आगे बढ़ रही है। केंद्र सरकार बुनकरों को मुद्रा योजना के तहत मदद देती है। वहीं कर्नाटका सरकार महामारी के दौरान उनका ऋण माफ करती है और उन्हें आर्थिक सहायता भी देती है। तो हुआ ना डबल इंजन का, यानी डबल बेनिफिट। साथियों, आजादी के इतने वर्षों बाद भी अगर कोई व्यक्ति वंचित है, कोई वर्ग वंचित है, कोई क्षेत्र वंचित है, तो उस वंचित को हमारी सरकार सबसे ज्यादा वरीयता दे रही है। और वंचितों को वरीयता, ये है हम लोगों का कार्य करने का राह है, संकल्प है, मंत्र है। हमारे देश में दशकों तक करोड़ों छोटे किसान भी हर सुख सुविधा से वंचित रहे। सरकारी नीतियों में उनका ध्यान तक नहीं रखा गया। आज यही छोटा किसान देश की कृषि नीति की सबसे बड़ी प्राथमिकता है। आज हम किसान को मशीनों के लिए मदद दे रहे हैं, ड्रोन जैसी आधुनिक टेक्नोलॉजी की तरफ ले जा रहे हैं, नैनो यूरिया जैसी आधुनिक खाद उपलब्ध करा रहे हैं। वहीं दूसरी तरफ प्राकृतिक खेती को भी प्रोत्साहित कर रहे हैं। आज छोटे किसान को भी किसान क्रेडिट कार्ड दिए जा रहे हैं। छोटे किसान फिर भूमिहीन परिवारों को अतिरिक्त आय हो, इसके लिए पशुपालन, मछली पालन, मधुमक्खी पालन, उसके लिए भी मदद दी जा रही है। भाइयों और बहनों, आज जब मैं यादगीर आया हूं तो कर्नाटका के परिश्रम किसानों का एक और बात के लिए भी आभार व्यक्त करूंगा। ये क्षेत्र दाल का कटोरा है। यहां की दालें देश भर में पहुंचती है। बीते 7-8 वर्षों में अगर भारत ने दालों के लिए अपने विदेशी निर्भरता को कम किया है, तो इसमें उत्तर कर्नाटका के किसानों की बहुत बड़ी भूमिका है। केंद्र सरकार ने भी इन 8 वर्षों में किसानों से 80 गुना अधिक दाल एमएसपी पर खरीदी। 2014 से पहले जहां दाल किसानों को कुछ 100 करोड़ रुपए मिलते थे, वहीं हमारी सरकार ने दाल वाले किसानों को 60,000 करोड़ रुपए दिए हैं। अब देश खाद्य तेल में आत्मनिर्भरता के लिए भी विशेष अभियान चला रहा है। इसका लाभ भी कर्नाटका के किसानों को जरूर उठाना चाहिए। आज बायोफ्यूल, इथेनॉल के उत्पादन और उपयोग के लिए भी देश में बहुत बड़े स्तर पर काम चल रहा है। सरकार ने पेट्रोल में इथेनॉल की ब्लेंडिंग का लक्ष्य भी बढ़ा दिया है। इससे भी कर्नाटका के गन्ना किसानों को बहुत लाभ होने वाला है। साथियों, एक और बड़ा अवसर आज दुनिया में पैदा हो रहा है, जिसका लाभ कर्नाटका के किसानों, विशेष रूप से छोटे किसानों को जरूर होगा। भारत के आग्रह पर संयुक्त राष्ट्र ने, यूनाइटेड नेशन ने इस वर्ष को इंटरनेशनल ईयर ऑफ मिलेट घोषित किया है। कर्नाटका में ज्वार और रागी जैसे मोटे अनाज की बहुत पैदावार होती है। अपने इस पौष्टिक मोटे अनाज की पैदावार बढ़ाने और इसे विश्व भर में प्रमोट करने के लिए डबल इंजन सरकार प्रतिबद्ध है। मुझे विश्वास है कि कर्नाटक के किसान इसमें भी अग्रणी भूमिका निभाएंगे। भाइयों और बहनों, उत्तर कर्नाटका की एक और चुनौती को हमारी सरकार कम करने का प्रयास कर रही है। ये चुनौती है कनेक्टिविटी की। खेती हो, उद्योग हो या फिर पर्यटन, सभी के लिए कनेक्टिविटी उतनी ही जरूरी है। आज जब देश कनेक्टिविटी से जुड़े इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पर बल दे रहा है, तो डबल इंजन सरकार होने के कारण कर्नाटका को भी इसका अधिक लाभ मिल पा रहा है। सूरत चेन्नई इकोनॉमिक कॉरिडोर का लाभ भी नॉर्थ कर्नाटका के एक बड़े हिस्से को होने वाला है। देश की दो बड़े पोर्ट सिटी के कनेक्ट होने से इस पूरे क्षेत्र में नए उद्योगों के लिए संभावनाएं बनेगी। नॉर्थ कर्नाटका के पर्यटक स्थलों, तीर्थों तक पहुंचना भी देशवासियों के लिए आसान हो जाएगा। इससे यहां युवाओं के लिए रोजगार और स्वरोजगार के हजारों नए अवसर बनेंगे। इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर और रिफॉर्म्स पर डबल इंजन सरकार के फोकस के कारण कर्नाटका निवेशकों की पसंद बन रहा है। भविष्य में ये निवेश और बढ़ने वाला है, क्योंकि भारत में निवेश को लेकर पूरी दुनिया में उत्साह है। मुझे विश्वास है कि नॉर्थ कर्नाटका को भी इस उत्साह का भरपूर लाभ मिलेगा। इस क्षेत्र का विकास सबके लिए समृद्धि लेकर आए, इसी कामना के साथ फिर एक बार इतनी बड़ी तादाद में आकर के हमें आशीर्वाद देने के लिए मैं आपका धन्यवाद करता हूं और इस अनेक अनेक विकास की योजनाओं के लिए आपको बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूं। भारत माता की, भारत माता की, भारत माता की। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
All right, so Prime Minister there in Karnataka inaugurating several projects, but straight away cutting across to those scenes coming in from the National Jantar Mantar, where the protests continue by the wrestlers. In fact, latest what we're given to understand.
तो जो सीनियर के हमारे जो पहलवान हैं जिन्होंने आवाज उठाई है, उनके साथ पिछले 8-10 साल में कितना कुछ हुआ होगा आप वो सोच सकते हैं। मतलब उन्होंने कितना कुछ सहा होगा। हर एक चीज का एक अंत आता है। आप कितना भी पाप करेगा, आपका पाप का घड़ा भरेगा। तो आज वो पाप का घड़ा उनका भर चुका है और उस चीज का अंत आ चुका है। तो और भी जितने भी पहलवान हैं जो नहीं पहुंच पाए हैं यहाँ पे, वो भी सपोर्ट करें। और हमें मतलब फेडरेशन ये है जो मतलब जो अभी जो जो भी व्यक्ति हैं फेडरेशन में, हमें उनमें से एक भी व्यक्ति नहीं चाहिए। हमें पूरी फेडरेशन का खंडन चाहिए, क्योंकि सब लोग फेडरेशन में भ्रष्ट बैठे हुए हैं। सब लोग, आप देखें, हम 2018 में हम टाटा आया था और हम ग्रेड सी में या डी में थे, हमारे 3-4 लाख रुपए साल के थे। 2018 में हमारे पास कुछ भी नहीं था। मतलब आप ये देखोगे, आप हरियाणा सरकार से पता करो, उस टाइम पे कैशवाड़ का भी कुछ चल रहा था, हम मेडल दे रहे थे देश को, लेकिन उस टाइम पे कैशवाड़ हरियाणा सरकार की किसी वजह से उस टाइम पे रोका गया था कुछ टाइम के लिए। उस टाइम पे टाटा था, टाटा के पैसे हमारे पास आ नहीं रहे थे। एक किश्त आई थी 25,000 रुपए की, उस टाइम पे हमारे पास कुछ नहीं था। तो हम कहाँ जाएं, नौकरी नहीं है। आज भी कोई भी प्राइवेट कंपनी हमें सपोर्ट करने की कोशिश करती है। आज हम सीनियर हैं, हमसे भी सीनियर हैं, उनको भी सपोर्ट करने की कोशिश की है, लेकिन क्या बोला जा रहा है, अगर जिस कंपनी से हम जिस कंपनी को हम बोलेंगे आप उसी का कॉन्ट्रैक्ट साइन करेंगे, आप किसी अन्य कंपनी से सहायता नहीं ले सकते। अगर आप ऐसा करते हैं तो आप पे बैन लगा दिया जाएगा। तो मतलब जिनसे वो जो हमें सपोर्ट कर रही है वो हमें लेने नहीं दे रहे हैं, जो उनको दे रही है कि बच्चों को सपोर्ट करो, वो हमारे पास आ नहीं रहा है। तो कहाँ जाए खिलाड़ी?
आपसे रिक्वेस्ट है, आप जो भी है आप सामने आइए। मैडम
All right, so continuously getting all those updates from Delhi Jantar Mantar, where you can see the wrestlers completely up in arms, demanding nothing less than sacking of all these officials who are part of the WFI. In fact, those visuals in which you can see Brinda Karat having arrived at the protest location, whereas the wrestlers there making it clear not to politicize the dharna there being staged by the wrestlers. Let's take a closer look at those visuals and the whole sequence of how Brinda Karat was not allowed to be a part of this protest being staged by the wrestlers.
जो भी देखिए, आपसे रिक्वेस्ट है, आप जो भी है आप सामने आइए। मैडम माइक किसी को नहीं मिलेगा।
सामने कहाँ से आए भैया, यहाँ तक
यहाँ से रास्ता दे दीजिए भाई। जी मैडम प्लीज, आपसे रिक्वेस्ट है मैडम प्लीज, आप नीचे आ जाइए मैडम प्लीज, आपसे रिक्वेस्ट है मैडम प्लीज, इसको राजनीति मुद्दा ना बनाइए प्लीज। आप नीचे चले जाइए प्लीज मैडम, नीचे चले जाइए प्लीज, आपसे हाथ जोड़कर रिक्वेस्ट है, आप सामने आ जाइए मैडम प्लीज, आपसे रिक्वेस्ट है। ये खिलाड़ियों का धरना है, ये
Bajrang Punia there making it very clear that not to make the protest political. In fact, there you can see Brinda Karat, who's arrived, who wanted to be a part of this protest and tried to gain that political mileage. But the wrestlers there making it very clear not to politicize the protest taking place. Suyesh, of course, continues to be with us, reporting live from the Jantar Mantar. Suyesh, of course, the wrestlers there making it very clear not to politicize the dharna there being staged. But take us through the scenes that you're seeing around you as of now.
Political opportunism at events like this, and this is exactly what the left was attempting to do. Brinda Karat was here with her cavalcade and her people, and she was trying to sit in the center of the stage with Bajrang Punia, and this is exactly what her team was urging Bajrang Punia and Sakshi Malik to do. But Bajrang Punia was amply clear that please don't politicize this fight, please don't dilute it, please don't shift its focus. It is what it is, and this is about the wrestlers, this is about the sporting fraternity, this is not about any political mileage here that any neta may want to garner. So she was very clearly told with a lot of respect that she must leave, and she was then left with no choice but to move out of here. So the wrestlers here sitting here on day 2, and they are very determined to continue this fight. They are very sure that they are not going to back down. In fact, Bajrang Punia went on to say that the WFI chief is trying every possible attempt to flee the country, and this is exactly what his sources are telling him, that he is wanting to evade this investigation. He knows that strict action can be taken against him, and so he's pulling strings to really evade the country, and that must be taken note of. But Bajrang Punia sitting here, Sakshi Malik, Babita Phogat is also here, and we see how the protest is really expanding with every passing hour, where there are wrestlers and seniors of the sporting fraternity who have come from Haryana and several other states to back this fight, because they say that there are systemic flaws. And they have a clear agenda with the federation. They have a clear fight with the federation. It is the federation that has been misusing its power. And Brij Bhushan Sharan, to be very, very specific, the man who has been controlling the reins of the federation, and how the young talent in the sporting fraternity is being exploited in the name of the rich and the powerful. Brij Bhushan Sharan is obviously a very well-connected man. He can pull political strings, and this is exactly what they are saying here. In fact, senior wrestlers who've come on to now support this young lot, saying that, they have had the courage to speak up, they have had the courage to fight the system, they have had the courage to now expose what the WFI has been doing all these years. And yes, these practices were very much much a part of how they used to function, but now they have had the courage to expose this. Bajrang Punia also saying that they're really fighting for the future of the wrestling fraternity. They are fighting for the young blood, for the future generations who look at them as their icons, who aspire to be wrestlers one day, who
All right, we'll try and connect with Suyesha again, but of course, as Suyesha was telling us, how the political leader tried to get that political mileage, and she was clearly told by the wrestlers not to politicize the dharna, the protest being staged by the wrestlers who have nothing but one demand: the sacking of the WFI chief. Remember several scathing allegations that the wrestlers have made, one of course being the sexual harassment charge on the WFI, something that has been outrightly rejected by the WFI chief. But yes, those are the serious allegations that have been made against the WFI, which also includes mental torture and death threats that have also been issued to these wrestlers. And of course, these threats and the torture, the mental torture, the sexual harassment that the wrestlers are talking about is an allegation that's been made not just by one wrestler out there, but several of those wrestlers who've now come out in the open demanding nothing less than sacking of these officials of the WFI. But those are the live visuals also we are getting in at this point, where you can see how the wrestlers are completely up in arms, who are demanding strict action against the WFI, who demand sacking of the WFI chief. And on the other side, you see that political mileage that some of those political leaders are trying to get of this campaign by the wrestlers who seek action for the mental torture, for the mental trauma and the sexual harassment that they have been at the receiving end of. We'll try and connect with Suyesha again, but those are the live visuals that we are getting right now from Jantar Mantar, where the protests continue unabated. But the left there was who arrived just a short while back to mark their attendance, but were told by the wrestlers to not make it a political agenda.
नहीं है, उनके खिलाफ सेक्सुअल हैरेसमेंट की कंप्लेंट करते हैं तो कोई इनकी सुध नहीं लेता। मेरे 5 सवाल हैं दिल्ली पुलिस। आदमी ब्रिज भूषण शरण, इसको अभी तक अरेस्ट क्यों नहीं करा गया? दूसरी बात, अभी तक ये आदमी कई सालों से 13 से ज्यादा सालों से रेसलिंग फेडरेशन ऑफ इंडिया का प्रेसिडेंट बना हुआ है। इतने बड़े बड़े आरोप लग गए और फिर भी अभी तक इसका रेजिग्नेशन नहीं माना गया। तो इसका रेजिग्नेशन तुरंत लेना चाहिए और इसके ऊपर स्पोर्ट्स मिनिस्ट्री क्या कर रही है। तीसरी बात, क्या स्पोर्ट्स मिनिस्ट्री में कोई इंटरनल कंप्लेंट्स कमेटी नहीं है? अभी तक इन सारे आरोपों के ऊपर जांच क्यों नहीं शुरू करी गई? चौथी बात, स्पोर्ट्स मिनिस्टर या उनका कोई सीनियर रिप्रेजेंटेटिव कब मिलने आ रहा है इन सारे के सारे खिलाड़ियों से जंतर मंतर पर? और पांचवी बात, इन सारे खिलाड़ियों ने बहुत बड़े सवाल उठाए हैं कि कैसे स्पोर्ट्स के अंदर एथलीट्स के साथ बहुत बड़े लेवल पे सेक्सुअल हैरेसमेंट हो रहा है। तो इसके ऊपर जांच कौन करेगा और क्या स्टेप्स उठाए जाएंगे केंद्र सरकार?
There you heard Swati Maliwal also raising very pointed questions as to why no action has been taken as of yet by the WFI in relation to those allegations that have been made by the wrestlers. Suyesha, of course, continues to be with us. Suyesha, for our viewers also who are just tuning in, if you can once again take us through the details of that sequence that just came in a short while back of how Brinda Karat was, in fact, was chased out as she tried to be a part of this protest. But those wrestlers there very categorically stated that they do not want this protest to be turned into a political event.
And very often, Samiksha, we see how netas try to gain political mileage by really coming at such occasions and extending their support. But that was very, very bluntly rejected by the wrestlers here. Bajrang Punia had in fact the same response when Brinda Karat along with her supporters was here, and her supporters really trying to be in the same frame as the wrestlers, trying to take the mic and requesting that Brinda Karat was here and the left is there to support the wrestlers. But Bajrang Punia was amply clear that please do not dilute this fight, please do not shift its focus, do not politicize it. They are here for a very serious issue and they are here to seek justice against the top bosses of the WFI, of issues that have been brushed aside all these years. And this is not about netas who can really come here and gain mileage. So while it was very respectfully said but very bluntly also conveyed that they don't need any netas paradropping here to just be here for their own sake, and this really just shifts the focus of the fight of the whole eventually they are trying to gain this fight. Remember, Samiksha, they have been sitting here and this is what it has reduced to, that we see the wrestlers of our country, the pride of our country, having to sit here on the streets, on the grass, and to put forth these issues. And while senior wrestlers really laud them for showing such courage, for actually having the strength to expose the system, to speak against those who have been in very powerful positions, because it is Brij Bhushan Sharan who does hold a lot of clout. He has been functioning like that for many years, is what senior wrestlers also say, and this rot that has been prevalent in the system, and this is exactly what they are saying, that they need to clean it up for the future generations. They need to have a sense of cleansing, because it is the youth, it is the young talent, it is the children who want to from a young age, who aim to become Bajrang Punia, Babita Phogat tomorrow. And how do they possibly do that when harsh reality strikes of how the system exploits this young talent, how female wrestlers are asked for sexual favors, they are sexually exploited. They've gone on to narrate some horror stories of how they have been tortured, they have feared for their life. So just the very fact that these are our pride, these wrestlers that you see here sitting on the stage, this young talent who has gathered here to support them, the senior generation who is also there with them, who have really seen the rot prevail in the system, are all here today, gathering in full force, gathering in larger numbers with every passing hour, saying that we need to clean it, and that can only happen when Brij Bhushan Sharan is sacked. That is their clear demand. Bajrang Punia has said that he's gathered from his sources that he's probably trying to flee the country. He's pulling political strings to be able to go, but he's really intimating everyone here that please do not allow that that to happen, set a precedent, because there are coaches also on the mid and the upper level who have indulged in such activities, and this is how they've created a norm in the system. So it is really by sacking the top boss, who is Brij Bhushan Sharan, who must be taught a lesson. There must be a precedent that must be set, so that we don't see sporting talent in our country having to get exploited like this, having to focus on their sport, focus on their talent, focus on their really honing their skills and making the country proud. And this is our job. This is the system's job to ensure that they don't have to go through all of this. I'm going to step into a very short commercial break, Samiksha, but we are going to come back. We are leading. We are with the wrestlers. We stand strong with the wrestlers, and we all say that fasten the pace of the investigation, sack Brij Bhushan Sharan. That is a clear demand. Set a precedent, because we are with the wrestlers. Stepping into a short break.
When timeless European design meets cutting-edge technology, it's QO. QO, European Bath Lounges.
11,000 placements last year. At Amity, we are committed to nurturing passionate, hardworking and proactive professionals.
Right now I'm reporting from the Jantar Mantar of National Capital, and behind me are the wrestlers who are protesting at this point in time. You can see Bajrang Punia sitting there, you can see many other faces who are very known and have got a medal for the country, and they want the federation to be changed.
This recovery has been made in the Gurdaspur sector nearby the international border, and in fact the BSF has recovered 4 made in China pistols along with 8 magazines and 47 rounds. And even according to the statement of BSF, they have spotted a drone on the intervening night of 17th and 18th January, in following which they have opened the fire. And in fact in the morning, after searching the area, they have recovered a huge cache of arms and ammunitions, and in fact further investigation is on with the help of the local police.
बहुत बड़ा एलिगेशन
जो इन खिलाड़ियों के साथ बीतता है वही लगा रहे हैं वो। भाई लड़कियों ने बोला है तो कुछ सच होगा।
पुनिया जी आगे कैसे होगा? पुनिया जी आगे कैसे होगा?
Well, I think it's important not to be circumspect in terms of the issue, but look at the facts. The facts are that the door did open by mistake while the plane was on the ground. All the checks were taken, and after that only the plane was allowed to take off. And he also said sorry for it himself. So.
Right now I'm reporting from the Jantar Mantar of National Capital, and behind me are the wrestlers who are protesting at this point in time. You can see Bajrang Punia sitting there, you can see many other faces who are very known and have got a medal for the country, and they want the federation to be changed.
This recovery has been made in the Gurdaspur sector nearby the international border, and in fact the BSF has recovered 4 made in China pistols along with 8 magazines and 47 rounds. And even according to the statement of BSF, they have spotted a drone on the intervening night of 17th and 18th January, in following which they have opened the fire. And in fact in the morning, after searching the area, they have recovered a huge cache of arms and ammunitions, and in fact further investigation is on.
Right now we are at Chhatrasal Stadium, and what we have got to know from the wrestlers who are training here at Chhatrasal Stadium, from where these big wrestler and athletes Bajrang Punia, Ravi Daya have practiced and have gone to the nationals and played Olympics. Now we are learning that all these wrestlers will be participating the dharna which is going on at Jantar Mantar, and they all will be participating, and they have said that their movement is today in support with Bajrang Punia and with other athletes and wrestlers.
Viewers, we are live and breaking right now, and as we speak, the protests continue in Jantar Mantar, where the top Indian wrestlers are still protesting on day 2. Let's go over to Swesha, who is getting us all the updates from ground. And Swesha, we are seeing multiple updates come out, especially a short time back. We saw how the left has now arrived to mark their attendance, and they were chased out because there was an entire attempt being made to politicize. Swesha, over to you.
Oh yes, absolutely. And that was rejected very, very straight on. Bajrang Punia, while speaking with utmost respect, flatly rejected any mileage that these netas may try to gain out of this fact that they are putting up against the Wrestling Federation of India. They have been sitting here for the past 2 days. They have been very categorical in putting forth the horror stories and all that they have been going through in all these years. And this is what they say that, and request to all the netas, here for a purpose. They want to clean up the system and they don't want any sort of political interference in that sense. They don't want political mileage to be gained out of this. They are clearly stating that this is a fight against the Wrestling Federation of India, not against anything else except upon these wrestlers for many, many years, senior wrestlers who've come out in large numbers, and they are also standing strong, lauding the courage of Bajrang Punia, Sakshi Malik, others who've actually now spoken up. They say that while these practices were prevalent for all these years and young talent was asked for sexual favors, they were exploited on very many levels, they were pressed, they were taken advantage of. This cannot happen anymore because these are our sporting talents. These youth who make us proud, who make the country proud, who win laurels for the country. This is the budding lot of wrestlers who are sitting right here because they watch Bajrang Punia, Sakshi Malik and Babita Phogat as their inspiration. They want to grow up to be icons like them, and this is exactly what they say, that this is a fight to clean up the rot on a larger level. This is a fight where they need to understand that this cannot prevail anymore and they are not going to keep quiet anymore. This is why on day 2 they've gathered here in large numbers, and you see how there are huge crowds here, massive security deployment, heavy media contingent, and wrestlers of all age groups who have come here from Haryana and from everywhere on the streets of the national capital in Jantar Mantar, where they say that we are putting up this fight, we are not going to back down. We demand the sacking of Brij Bhushan Sharan. That is the clear demand, as Bajrang Punia says that the top boss of the Wrestling Federation of India is also trying to flee the country. He is in a powerful position. He can pull strings to actually have his way. He holds a lot of clout when it comes to not just his political links, but even otherwise in the sporting fraternity. And he is saying that don't allow the man to go scot-free. Punish him this time. Set a precedent. Let the others also know, be it on the middle level, be it on the upper level, be it those who are working under him, that these practices cannot prevail. They cannot exploit young talent like this. They cannot take advantage of their position. They're clearly misusing the power that they have to put the young talent through this. And never before have we seen such a strong rebellion in the sporting fraternity to this level, where you see them coming out and saying that we cannot go on like this. Let's also get a word from Bajrang Punia. He's right here. आपके साथ कौन-कौन जा रहा है? कौन-कौन जा रहा है साथ? ये और कुछ भी
नहीं, अभी कुछ नहीं कहा, आने के बाद बात करते हैं आपसे। किससे? अभी बता दिया, सरकार के जो अधिकारी है स्पोर्ट्स मिनिस्ट्री में, उन्हीं से मिलने जा रहे हैं। और कहाँ मिलेंगे आप? अभी आगे बता देंगे। उधर कर प्लीज भाई, ये जाके बता दें।
खेल मंत्री से मुलाकात,
बात तो कर लेने दो।
बिल्कुल, तो आप क्या खेल मंत्री से मुलाकात? बिल्कुल, आप बजरंग पुनिया को सुन रहे थे। बजरंग पुनिया को सुन रहे थे, वो निकले हैं यहाँ से मुलाकात करने के लिए।
All right. So basically, Bajrang Punia is saying that he is going for meeting with the which is also investigating into the matter and how they are looking into every detail and these allegations that have been made by all these wrestlers. So Bajrang Punia right now has just left this very spot at Jantar Mantar along with a few of his protesters here who are going to the sports ministry to hold a meeting. Remember, they have been saying that they will not back down in any which way, and you see a lot of these wrestlers who are still here, supporters who are still saying that we will not leave from here. We will not empty the grounds until we see strong action that is taken against the top boss of the Wrestling Federation of India, who is Brij Bhushan Sharan. They want action against the man. He is also trying to flee the country, is what Bajrang Punia has said. But right now, clearly they have been approached, and which is why Bajrang Punia is saying that we are going to the sports ministry to meet with the bosses there, as they are now intervening. They are now wanting to look into the allegations that have been made by all these wrestlers, and they demand that do not allow the man to go scot-free when it is about Brij Bhushan Sharan. He must be taken to task. He must be booked. Action must be taken against him, because he is the one who has been controlling the reins, who is responsible for rotting the system to this level, because they've also gone to say that it is not just him, but even other coaches and who do hold powerful positions to actually go on to exploit female wrestlers and even the others when it comes to pressing their ways onto them. And they are saying that they want support from the federation. They want the system to clean up, and just putting up this fight. They are right here. You see a lot of people who have gathered here, not just heavy media contingent, security deployment, but you see it is not just the sports fraternity, it is not just the wrestlers, it is the armed janta who has come here in support of these wrestlers, who are saying that we cannot allow this to happen. We cannot allow sporting talent to be exposed to these kind of practices, to really have to go through this when they are the ones who make our country proud. Let's also understand, Shivangi, that it is the likes of Bajrang Punia, Sakshi Malik, Babita Fogart, who've literally got tears into our eyes when every time they have, worked so hard for winning medals for the country. And, they don't have it easy. They have it through very difficult circumstances. They don't have the best of opportunities, but it is really with their hard work, with their determination, that they surpass all of them, the icons that they have. And today, when they are looked up to, they expose the rot in the system. They expose the filth that has been ongoing of how those who do hold very, very influential positions have been exploiting talent, who are really the ones who make us proud. Then why is it that they have to go through all this? And which is why you see such heavy crowds who have come here. If I can request my camera person to quickly take a 360-degree angle of what is happening here, as you see strong voices coming in on the second day of the protest. And it is a Republic's relentless campaign leading from the front, where we say that we are with the wrestlers, we are fighting for the wrestlers, and we are also not going to back down until justice is served in this matter. It must be fast-tracked as far as the investigation is concerned, and they must come to a proper conclusion to what really are these allegations and how it has been running. Because yesterday, when Brij Bhushan Sharan had spoken, he said that this is a conspiracy. He went on to blame the wrestlers instead, and his colleagues and accomplices, who went on to say that no complaint had ever been received. So this was absolutely arbitrary according to them to why this was happening. But these are the wrestlers here who say that we have been trying to fight this. We have been speaking about this for very many years, but all our calls have gone unheard, and which is why we are not going to back down now. We have come here to this platform to tell the entire country what is happening, and now we see what is happening on day 2, where Bajrang Punia, of course, has gone to the sports ministry for a meeting, but everyone staying put over here, continuing raising their voices, raising slogans against the Wrestling Federation of India.
Right, Suesha, and the big news is, of course, that right now the team Bajrang Punia are going to meet the sports ministry officials, and also Tokyo Olympics bronze medalist Bajrang Punia elaborated on the shocking allegations leveled by some of the female wrestlers against the wrestling coaches and the Wrestling Federation of India president. But speaking exclusively on the debate with the Republic Media Network's editor-in-chief Arnab Goswami, Bajrang Punia stated that the female wrestlers were ready to open up about the sexual harassment they suffered at the hands of the Wrestling Federation of India president. Let's take a look at that bit.
बजरंग पुनिया जी नमस्कार, मैं अर्नब बोल रहा हूं, मेरी आवाज आ रही है?
जी भाई साहब नमस्कार, आवाज आ रही है।
बजरंग जी सीधी बातचीत होगी, एक तरफ आप हैं और एक तरफ हमारे साथ असीत साहा है, वाइस प्रेसिडेंट रेसलिंग फेडरेशन ऑफ इंडिया, विनोद तोमर भी है। ओपन डिबेट 1 वर्सेस 1 होगी और ये बजरंग पुनिया जी, आप ये यहाँ पे जो रेसलिंग फेडरेशन इंडिया के जितने ऑफिशियल्स बैठे हुए हैं सब कह रहे हैं कि आप जो कह रहे हैं सब झूठ है, कभी भी कोई यौन शोषण, सेक्सुअल एक्सप्लॉयटेशन, सेक्सुअल अब्यूज कभी नहीं हुई, आप झूठ बोल रहे हैं, ये वो कह रहे हैं। और खुद बैठे हैं इधर विनोद तोमर रेसलिंग फेडरेशन ऑफ इंडिया के और असीत साहा जो वाइस प्रेसिडेंट है, दोनों बैठे हैं।
भाई जी मैं आपको बता दूं, जो लड़कियों ने जो आरोप लगाए हैं तो उन्होंने अपनी इज्जत सोच समझ के लगाया, क्योंकि एक लड़की की अगर इज्जत ही नहीं बचेगी तो क्या बचेगा। तो वो चीजें उन्होंने जो बोली है तो उन्होंने अपनी सब चीजें एक साइड रख के कुश्ती को दोबारा से एक बार मतलब एक नया जीवन देने के लिए बोली है। तो मुझे नहीं लगता कि कोई अपनी इतना बड़ा आरोप झूठा लगाएगा। देखिए वो तो सबूत भी देंगे, हर चीज करेंगे वो चीज कि भाई आप
कह रहे सबूत है?
बिल्कुल। देखिए जिनके साथ ये चीजें हुई हैं वो चीज लड़कियां खुद बोल रही हैं कि हाँ हमारे साथ हुआ है, और वो सामने आके अगर बोलेंगी तो वो झूठ बोलेंगे। देश के हम नाम इसलिए नहीं लेना चाह रहे क्योंकि उनकी सेल्फ रिस्पेक्ट, एक सेल्फ इज्जत भी है। अगर हम मीडिया के सामने बोल देंगे तो उनका क्या होगा, मगर हम नाम भी देंगे, अगर बात ये आएगी तो नाम भी देंगे हम। तो वो सामने आके बोलेंगे।
विनोद तोमर जी आप इनको पहचानते तो होंगे ना? बजरंग पुनिया इनका नाम है, वर्ल्ड चैंपियनशिप मेडलिस्ट है ना? हाँ
बिल्कुल जी,
हाँ जी
बिल्कुल जी, बिल्कुल।
हाँ तो आप इनको बताइए ना, आपने तो बोला कि ये सब झूठे हैं, आपने इनको झूठा बोला 2 मिनट पहले, अभी खुद बैठे हैं आपके सामने, बोलिए इनको टीवी पर ये झूठ बोल रहे हैं। बजरंग पुनिया झूठ क्यों बोलेंगे तोमर जी?
नहीं,
बजरंग पुनिया झूठ क्यों बोलेंगे?
ऐसा कोई कंप्लेंट नहीं आई है मेरे पास।
हाँ जी
नहीं, मैं इनका झूठ नहीं कह रहा, लेकिन हमारे पास ऐसी कोई कंप्लेंट कभी नहीं आई है सेक्सुअल हरासमेंट की या किसी भी तरह की कोई कंप्लेंट हमारे पास, अगर हमारे पास आती तो उसको कंसीडर करा जाता उस कंप्लेंट पे। लेकिन कोई ऐसा कंप्लेंट अभी तक आया नहीं है। तो हमें सुबह मॉर्निंग में पता चला कि ट्वीट के थ्रू कि भाई ऐसा कुछ चल रहा है, और उन्होंने मैं खुद पर्सनली भी गया था अभी दोपहर में और उनसे बात करी थी मैंने कि आपकी कोई डिमांड वगैरह है तो आप हमें बताइए क्या है। तो
डिमांड की क्या
4 बजे प्रेस
डिमांड के लिए, न्याय के लिए बोल रहे हैं आप? अरे पुनिया जी हाँ बजरंग जी बोलिए।
मतलब हमारी कोई डिमांड नहीं है, हम अपनी रेसलिंग का फ्यूचर बचाने के लिए लड़ रहे हैं। क्योंकि तो बच्चों ने जो, देखिए हम दुख इस बात का, तो हमारे सीनियर खिलाड़ी चले गए, उन्होंने आवाज नहीं उठाई, और खिलाड़ियों ने एकजुट होकर जो ये हिम्मत दिखाई है और बोल रहे हैं कि भाई हम कुश्ती परिवार, हम कुश्ती को दोबारा से जो अभी इतने मतलब हर चीज में टॉर्चर, उस चीज को बचाने के लिए सभी खिलाड़ी इकट्ठा हुए हैं। और उस चीज को अब वो बोल रहे हैं कि हमें किसी भी हद तक जाना पड़े तो उसको हम पूरा करेंगे।
All right, viewers, so we continue our rolling coverage from Jantar Mantar, from ground, where we're getting you top updates. Day 2 of the protest, and big demands being made by the Indian wrestlers. They want that the WFI president be sacked, removed from the post. They want better training, they want better amenities, and they want better equipment, among others as well. We'll track every detail right now. The wrestlers are meeting the sport ministry officials, taking a very short break, and we continue our rolling coverage from ground, from Jantar Mantar, New Delhi. Stay tuned. Coming up on the other side, also the open and shocking VVIP racism in Bihar's Buxar. Train stopped for 15 minutes for Chief Minister's convoy. Prime Minister to visit Maharashtra, set to inaugurate mega development projects.
When timeless European design meets cutting-edge technology, it's QO. QO, European Bath Lounges.
This recovery has been made in the Gurdaspur sector nearby the international border, and in fact the BSF has recovered 4 made-in-China pistols along with 8 magazines and 47 rounds. And even according to the statement of BSF, they have spotted a drone on the intervening night of 17th and 18th January, and following which they have opened the fire. And in fact in the morning, after searching the area, they have recovered a huge cache of arms and ammunition, and in fact further investigation is on with the help of the local police.
पुनिया जी बहुत बड़ा एलिगेशन
जो इन खिलाड़ियों के साथ बीतता है वही लगा रहे हैं वो।
पुनिया जी सेक्सुअल हैरेसमेंट तक की बात जो है
भाई लड़कियों ने बोला है तो कुछ सच होगा।
पुनिया जी आगे कैसे होगा? पुनिया जी आगे कैसे होगा?
Well, I think it's important not to be circumspect in terms of the issue, but look at the facts. The facts are that the door did open by mistake while the plane was on the ground. All the checks were taken, and after that only the plane was allowed to take off. And he also said sorry for it himself. So.
Right now I'm reporting from the Jantar Mantar of National Capital, and behind me are the wrestlers who are protesting at this point in time. You can see Bajrang Punia sitting there, you can see many other faces who are very known and have got a medal for the country, and they want the federation to be changed.
This recovery has been made in the Gurdaspur sector nearby the international border, and in fact the BSF has recovered 4 made in China pistols along with 8 magazines and 47 rounds. And even according to the statement of BSF, they have spotted a drone on the intervening night of 17th and 18th January, in following which they have opened the fire. And in fact in the morning, after searching the area, they have recovered a huge cache of arms and ammunition, and in fact further investigation is
As we continue to cover the protest on day 2, where wrestlers are saying that they will not back down in this fight against the Wrestling Federation of India, we have live with us Sudhanshu Mittal, the former Vice President of the Indian Olympic Association, joining us live on the broadcast. So very good afternoon, and thank you for being with us. You are watching every development of what is happening and are privy to the internal systems of how it really functions. These allegations and very, very grave in nature being made against the Wrestling Federation of India. What do you have to say? What do you think of it?
You see, these allegations are very grave and very serious. But unfortunately, the way they are being leveled surprises me. Today is the second day. An issue of sexual harassment is far too serious a thing than just talking about it. Till now, an FIR should have been lodged by the person who has been sexually harassed. Acha, today's the law is that you don't need to reveal the identity. I was just hearing Mr. Bajrang Punia that it is a matter of the pride or the respect of the individual, so we cannot disclose it. Please don't. But please lodge a complaint with the police about the sexual harassment, where you will have to specify the incident. You will have to say when it happened, what happened. Allow me to finish. So sexual harassment cannot be so casually mentioned and talked about. It is far too serious an allegation. It is, in fact, in the IPC today, it is one of the most serious offences. And for that reason, I am really requesting that if such is the case, and if that is the truth, then an immediate FIR must be lodged by the victim. Now, he's saying it's not just one victim, multiple victims.
But, sir, this is exactly what they are saying, that this is not about one complaint. This is about the whole practice that has been prevalent in the system for all these years. This is about how voices are silenced. This is about how they feared for their life, how they have been tortured. And they have really gathered the courage to come out and expose them like this, because they are exposing the men who stand in very, very powerful positions, who have been able to pull strings, who have been able to press them upon for all these years. And they say that they have a problem with the way things have been functioning by and large. This is a very, very big expose. It is not restricted to one complaint from a person to an FIR, which is why they are exposing the rot and the filth in the system. Are you actually privy of such details and such practices existing?
No. They can be sexual harassment issues involved, especially when it comes to contact sports. But they are talking about the sexual harassment by the president of the Wrestling Federation of India. And it is a very, very serious matter. So forget multiple complaints. Even one complaint must go. One complaint must go to the police for against sexual harassment. As I said, it's a very, very serious.
But Mr. Mittal, they say that it is not just the chief of the Wrestling Federation of India, even the coaches, even the middlemen, even those who are training these wrestlers on the ground. Imagine the rot into the system that even they have the audacity to ask for sexual favors from young sporting talent. And it is shameful that this is the kind of system that prevails for budding talent.
A general statement cannot be made for such serious offenses. You have to understand, you are saying there is a rot in the system. The rot in the system will be only exposed when something specific comes. And that specific thing will lead to the cleansing of the system. I mean, a generality, would it lead to anything? No. Because a generality will always be debated whether it is right or wrong. But when it comes to a specific complaint, that is what will lead to an investigation which will clean the rot. Let me also say, I have been hearing this very carefully. There are two sides to it. One is misgovernance and one is sexual harassment. Again, the issue of misgovernance has to be addressed with specifics and not in generality. Yes, there is a system which is prevailing. Okay, if the system is prevailing, how? Now, you say a coach seeks sexual favor, you will say which coach has done that? Because unless a complaint is made or unless something specific is found out, how do you think anybody will address this issue? There is,
Mr. Mittal, have any of these sort of complaints have reached you during your tenure, sir?
No,
did you receive
none.
complaints of this nature from wrestlers, from sporting persons?
None at all.
Anything that has reached you, anything that you have been aware of, anything that you have known existed during your tenure?
None at all. And that is the reason I said that if there is something specific, then it will lead to the cleansing of the system or it will lead to apprehending the culprit. A generality, a general statement of misgovernance, including that of sexual harassment, doesn't lead to anything. The wrestlers who are highly acclaimed in terms of their own accomplishments, they are sitting on Jantar Mantar. It raises serious concern.
Right.
But at the same time, they must come up with specific instances. They must come up with something specific and not generality. You have seen the statements. They're just general statements. How would that general statement lead to anything serious?
It is certainly shameful. It is certainly shameful for those who are governing such bodies if there is such truth to these allegations. Mr. Mittal, I'm really sorry I'm having to interrupt you here. We are getting more live voices, so please stay on with us. I'll come back to you to get a word from you. But my colleague Shivangi is also getting us more voices from the studio. Please stay with us, Mr. Mittal.
Right. We are getting some breaking updates coming in, and this is a statement being made by Anshu Malik, where she has made a couple of statements there, where she is saying that something which has happened in Bulgaria during a World Championships. She's talking about a particular incident. Let's play out that sound bite by Anshu Malik, the sports person.
जूनियर वर्ल्ड चैंपियनशिप थी अभी बुल्गारिया में, वहां पे प्रेसिडेंट सर उसी होटल में रहे जहां पे टीम थी, जहां पे लड़कियों के रूम थे, महिला खिलाड़ियों के रूम थे, उन्हीं के रूम के सामने उन्होंने रूम लिया। मेरे को खुद जूनियर खिलाड़ियों ने बताया है कि वो रूम हमेशा अपना ओपन रखते थे, जबकि उनके सामने महिला खिलाड़ियां रहती थी। महिला खिलाड़ियां उन्हें बताया कि वो अपने रूम में से सिर्फ ट्रेनिंग के लिए ही निकल पाती थी, और अगर वो उस रूम में वो आप कंपटीशन में गए हुए हो और वहां पे खिलाड़ी कंफर्टेबल नहीं है रूम में ही, तो अब कैसे आप कंपटीशन लड़ोगे या खुद को कंफर्टेबल करोगे वहां पे? और ये रूल है कि कोई भी किसी भी फेडरेशन का प्रेसिडेंट जिस होटल में खिलाड़ी रह रहे हैं उस होटल में नहीं रुक सकता। तो लड़कियां ये बोल रही हैं कि हम कुश्ती लड़ने के बाद या ऑफ टाइम हो रहा है, हम होटल में आ रहे हैं, तो हम उस फ्लोर पे भी नहीं जा रहे हैं जहां पे प्रेसिडेंट सर का रूम था और जिस रूम के सामने लड़कियों के रूम थे। लड़कियां नीचे बैठी हैं, जूनियर लड़कियां वो भी कंफर्टेबल नहीं है। तो आप सोच सकते हो ये कितनी बड़ी बात है।
Mr. Mittal, I want to come back to you because I'm sure you've heard what Anshu Malik has said. And the very fact that this is the trap that is laid for female wrestlers. How they are forced into such situations that they literally feel that they have to give in. And this is toxic, sir. This is absolutely grave. The very that they are forced into something like this, and these are the situations that are created by those in power in the Wrestling Federation is extremely concerning. How do you think this can be fixed? What do you think needs to be done on an immediate basis? And how do you change it?
I would again request that, I heard this allegation that his room was there where the wrestlers were there. And that was not a comfortable situation. On the contrary, let me tell you one thing. The sports administrators have been hankering for better facilities than the players. But some of the administrators, thinking that they have to be a part of the entire setup with the at equivalence with the players, have been doing this, which has really brought out good results. Now there is the requirement of a very specific complaint, as I said. Merely opening a door of a president, that will not tantamount to sexual harassment. Sexual harassment is far too serious an allegation, where an act of an individual against an individual, if the individual has asked for a sexual favor, it is a grave matter, which must be dealt with the most severe of all punishments. If the person has actually sexually violated a wrestler, again, it must be acted very firmly. So that is the reason I'm saying a mere generality will never find a solution to the problem. If there is a problem which exists of sexual exploitation, it is most heinous, and that is the reason I'm saying that the most heinous of allegation which has been leveled must be seriously dealt with, and not in a very populist manner. Because if we become populist, yesterday I was hearing, where are the committees for sexual harassment? Where are the committees? This allegation is far beyond the existence of committees. It's a pure criminal matter, where the police must immediately swing into action if a specific complaint has been made. Now, talking about a mere room, along with where the athletes are and which the room was open, that unfortunately will not find a solution to what is being stated. So for that reason, I'm saying, misgovernance.
Mr. Mittal,
yes, allow
yes,
me.
absolutely. Like you say, these are very, very strong allegations, need to be dealt with most severely. And you've been a man in power in that chair, sir. You have been controlling the system of how it has worked at one point. And certainly it needs to be dealt with on a fast-paced basis on how these men are now pulled up. Mr. Mittal, I'm sorry, but we have to slip into a very short commercial break. And before we do that, we are quickly cutting across to these pictures that are coming to us from outside the Sports Ministry, where Bajrang Punia is present to meet with the panel. Remember, he has been called by the Sports Ministry. This is a huge Republic impact that has been relentlessly leading the campaign, and how the centre has intervened. The Sports Ministry has asked these wrestlers to come and meet the delegation to put forth all the allegations that they have been levelling against the chief of the Wrestling Federation of India, as they demand that Brij Bhushan Sharan must be sacked at the earliest. Bajrang Punia also earlier said that he's trying to flee the country and he should not be allowed to go scot-free. He is a man in power. He is a man who can afford to pull political strings, and he must be stopped. So he is at the Sports Ministry. Bajrang Punia there meeting with the delegation. Those pictures right there as we continue to report from every vantage point on this story. Republic with wrestlers, that's the hashtag. You can put forth your view on all our platforms to share what you have to say, a matter that is of a lot of shame, and the Wrestling Federation of India must be answerable. Slipping into a very short commercial break. We'll be back on the other side. Stay with us.
$11,000 placements last year. At Amity, we are committed to nurturing passionate, hardworking and proactive professionals.
बहुत बड़ा एलिगेशन
जो इन खिलाड़ियों के साथ बीतता है वही लगा रहे हैं वो। भाई लड़कियों ने बोला है तो कुछ सच होगा।
पुनिया जी आगे कैसे होगा? पुनिया जी आगे कैसे होगा?
Well, I think it's important not to be circumspect in terms of the issue, but look at the facts. The facts are that the door did open by mistake while the plane was on the ground. All the checks were taken, and after that only the plane was allowed to take off. And he also said sorry for it himself. So.
Right now I'm reporting from the Jantar Mantar of National Capital, and behind me are the wrestlers who are protesting at this point in time. You can see Bajrang Punia sitting there, you can see many other faces who are very known and have got a medal for the country, and they want the federation to be changed.
This recovery has been made in the Gurdaspur sector nearby the international border, and in fact the BSF has recovered 4 made in China pistols along with 8 magazines and 47 rounds. And even according to the statement of BSF, they have spotted a drone on the intervening night of 17th and 18th January, in following which they have opened the fire. And in fact in the morning, after searching the area, they have recovered a huge cache of arms and ammunitions, and in fact further investigation is on with the help of the local police.
बहुत बड़ा एलिगेशन
जो इन खिलाड़ियों के साथ बीतता है वही लगा रहे हैं वो।
पुनिया जी सेक्सुअल हरेसमेंट
भाई लड़कियों ने बोला है तो कुछ सच होगा वो।
पुनिया जी आगे कैसे होगा? पुनिया जी आगे कैसे होगा?
Well, I think it's important not to be circumspect in terms of the issue, but look at the facts. The facts are that the door did open by mistake while the plane was on the ground. All the checks were taken, and after that only the plane was allowed to take off. And he also said sorry for it himself. So.
Right now I'm reporting from the Jantar Mantar of National Capital, and behind me are the wrestlers who are protesting at this point in time. You can see Bajrang Punia sitting there, you can see many other faces who are very known and have got a medal for the country, and they want the federation to be changed.
This recovery has been made in the Gurdaspur sector nearby the international border, and in fact the BSF has recovered 4 made in China pistols along with 8 magazines and 47 rounds. And even according to the statement of BSF, they have spotted a drone on the intervening night of 17th.
Thanks for tuning in this Thursday afternoon. We are live and breaking. I'm Samiksha Srivastava. Over the next half an hour, we'll get you all the top stories, starting first with the top headlines this Thursday afternoon.
चीजें हमने फेस की है, जो आने वाला जो हमारा फ्यूचर बैठा है रेसलिंग का, उसके लिए हम नहीं सहेंगे, इसीलिए हमने आवाज उठाई है।
Protests at Jantar Mantar entered day 2. Our champions won't stop. They won't back down.
मैडम प्लीज इसको राजनीति मुद्दा ना बनाइए प्लीज। आप नीचे चले जाइए प्लीज, प्लीज मैडम नीचे चले जाइए प्लीज, आपसे हाथ जोड़ के रिक्वेस्ट है।
Big embarrassment for left as leaders paradrop at protest site. Champs chase them out. From 72-hour deadline to WFI to a meet with Sports Ministry panel, back-to-back win for the wrestlers. Republic leads fight for a champions. Nation demands sacking of wrestling bosses named.
मेरा बेटा को पुलिस ने भिजाया में सरेंडर कर दिया। बस वो गलत किया तो कर देंगे, बस पुलिस वाला करेंगे।
Telangana BJP chief remains brazen over son's assault tape, targets Republic now. Prime Minister to visit Mumbai shortly, set to inaugurate mega development projects. And we start with a top focus, protest against the sitting BJP MP and President of the Wrestling Federation of India, Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh, continues in the national capital. In fact, the Olympic champion Bajrang Punia has now told the media at Delhi's Jantar Mantar that the protest would continue. The visuals there on your screens of the wrestlers who have arrived at the Sports Ministry office to seek action against the WFI chief. We'll go across to Suesha as well, who's there at the Jantar Mantar, and Harsha as well, who's there at the Sports Ministry office to get us more details. But what we're given to understand as of now is that the wrestlers will continue to stage protest, demanding action and in fact seeking nothing less than sacking of the WFI chief. Suesha, take us through the latest you're picking up. We're given to understand that the wrestlers have now reached the Sports Ministry, knocking the doors of the Sports Ministry, seeking action against the WFI chief.
Oh yes, absolutely, Samiksha. Fast-paced developments ever since they first spoke, and Republic has been standing from strength to support to the wrestlers in their fight against the Wrestling Federation of India. They say that their fight is against the federation. They say that the federation has been exploiting them for way too long, for very many years. Senior wrestlers also who've come out in support of this very lot, saying that it is the courage of Bajrang Punia, Sakshi Malik, Vinisha Fogart and the others, that they've had the ability and the courage to expose those in powerful positions. That includes the WFI chief, who they demand must be sacked at the earliest. This is Brij Bhushan Sharan, who does hold a very powerful position, who has been in that chair for several tenures, and as we see how they are saying that they will not back down. In fact, the numbers in the protests and how it is gaining more and more support is visible with every passing hour, because wrestlers of all age groups, be it those who aspire to be one, be it those who are still training but are younger, be it those who are at a fair level, or the seniors, have come out from Haryana, from other states. And let me tell you, this is not just the wrestlers, but India today stands with the wrestlers of our country who bring laurels, who make our country proud, because it is extremely shameful if these are the kind of rotten practices that exist within the system. Instead of actually supporting our sporting talent, our budding wrestlers, it is the federation that is instead exploiting them. Sexual favors are asked of the female wrestlers. Their ways are pressed upon them. They feel tortured. They say that they are being silenced. They fear for their life, and
उसका जवाब देंगे. सारी बातें बहुत गंभीरता से ली गई हैं, और इन सब विषयों को जैसे भी वो रिपोर्ट करते हैं, और ज़रूर मैं समझता हूँ इसका संज्ञान जो है वो भारत सरकार, खेल विभाग ज़रूर लेगा, क्योंकि ये सब चीज़ें बहुत ही गंभीर हैं, और ख़ास करके खिलाड़ियों के लिए उनको जो प्रोत्साहन देने के लिए हम जितने काम करते हैं, ऐसी घटनाओं से कहीं ना कहीं जो उनका मनोबल टूटता है, उसको बिल्कुल नहीं टूटने देंगे. चीज़ों को गंभीरता से लेंगे. खास करके जो हमारी बेटियां हैं, बहनें हैं, जो महिला खिलाड़ी हैं, उनकी सुरक्षा ये बहुत ज़रूरी है. इसके ऊपर पूरा ध्यान देंगे. देखिए, इसमें चूंकि हमारे पास इस प्रकार की कोई पहले शिकायत नहीं आई, और ये कल ही जब ये सारा प्रदर्शन करने का विषय आया है तब से ही जानकारी मिली है. कल मेरे क्योंकि लगातार अपने कार्यक्रम थे, कल रात्रि के बाद मैं आया हूं, और अगर हमारी तरफ हमें भी विषय को रेफर किया जाएगा तो हम उसका कोई संज्ञान लेंगे. लेकिन जनरल जो जानकारी मिली है उसमें से खिलाड़ियों की सुरक्षा ये करने का हम अपने खेल विभाग में इसका जरूर और विचार करके जो कोई आवश्यकता होगी इसको पूरा करें. देखिए, एनपीएस में पेंशन जो मिलनी है वो जितनी मिल रही है उसमें ये बात ठीक है कि पहले की पेंशन की अपेक्षा उसमें थोड़ा कम मिलती है. इसको कैसे बढ़ाया जाए, सरकार ने, केंद्र सरकार ने और हरियाणा सरकार ने पहले 10% शेयर था, उसको 14% किया है.
All right, so there you heard the Haryana Chief Minister. In fact, a reaction coming in from Abhinav Bindra. Let's listen in.
I don't want to get into the case because it's not right to me to comment on a case which is under an investigation. But as I said, it should be a lesson that we have to work towards.
मानना है कि जांच होनी चाहिए और एक्शन होना.
देखिए, I think that has already been ordered, so it's already under play. Thank you.
तो हमारे साथ में मौजूद थे अभिनव बिंद्रा, शूटर हैं और बड़े लेवल के प्लेयर रहे हैं, गोल्ड जीता है भारत की तरफ से। उन्होंने कहा है कि जांच होनी चाहिए और जांच के बाद में कार्रवाई निश्चित तौर से होनी चाहिए, क्योंकि ये खिलाड़ियों के सम्मान की बात है। वीडियो जर्नलिस्ट महेश के साथ अमरदीप शर्मा, रिपब्लिक टीवी, जयपुर। सर एक फोटो हमारे साथ ही।
All right, so a lot of reactions coming in. The Haryana Chief Minister, of course, backing the wrestlers and saying that stern action would be taken against those who were involved in these acts. Harsha and Suyesha, of course, continue to be with us. Harsha is there at the Sports Ministry's office to take us through the latest. Harsha, we understand that the wrestlers have now arrived at the Sports Ministry office. Take us through the action that's been initiated so far. We understand that the Sports Ministry will be creating a panel as well to probe the charges against the WFI chief.
Exactly, Samiksha. Right now, reporting from outside the Shastri Bhavan, will show you the visuals because it's been just 10 minutes that Bajrang Punia, Vinesh Fogart and Sakshi Malik, all three of them have reached Sports Ministry office. Right now, the meeting is being held with the Sports Secretary, and in a short while, Anurag Thakur will also join the meeting. Samiksha, there's not a single person who is not with the Republic Impact, that we stand with the wrestler and action should be taken against Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh because the allegations are really very serious, and that was the patience which wrestlers were holding since long, and now the list has come. Vinesh clearly states that there are not 1, 2, but in fact there are more than 12-13 the 12 to 13 female wrestlers who have been sexually assaulted by Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh. And then also we have seen several videos of Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh, how he misbehaves with the athlete. Morning hours, Samiksha, I was in Chhatrasal Stadium, and that time also the coaches, the wrestler, the Asian champions were talking us all about the ill deeds of Brij Bhushan. Every wrestler wants an investigation should be done against Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh. He should step down from his position. The ministry should sack him from the Wrestling Federation Association, and things should be taken very to the next level, and that's what the demand that Sakshi Malik, Bajrang Punia and Vinesh Fogart have reached to the Shastri Bhavan to meet Anurag Thakur. We are also learning that a committee will be set up by government to investigate on this entire issue, on the allegations which are leveled by the wrestlers, and we are also getting to know that there will be 2 female representatives in the committee. So now the demand of wrestler is that the Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh should not be allowed to run from the country, because since morning 5 a.m.
Yes, Harsha, we'll just come back to you. So Harsha, they're reporting from outside the Sports Ministry's office. We have Suyesha, of course, who continues to be at the Jantar Mantar where the wrestlers have been staging protests. Suyesha, once again, if you can take us through the action that has been initiated so far. The centre, of course, having sought a reply within 72 hours. Talk to us about the Sports Ministry having it said that it will be forming a panel to probe the charges against the WFI.
Oh yes, absolutely, Samiksha. Let's understand that this is not just the fight of the wrestlers. This actually is the fight for the entire country of how the wrestlers have been let down like this, and which is why we see ever since they raised their voices yesterday and leveled such grave allegations against the Wrestling Federation of India, its chief Brij Bhushan Sharan and the others who do hold powerful positions. It is absolutely shocking that these are our sporting talent who make our country proud, and this is what they have to go through internally. Now, they have been amply clear. I'm talking about the wrestlers here, and Bajrang Punia really leading this fight. They say that their fight is not against the government, their fight is not against anyone, their fight is against the federation. And now that they have spoken against the federation, we have seen how Republic has relentlessly led this campaign. We demand only one thing: Brij Bhushan Sharan must be sacked. And you see fast-paced developments of how the centre has intervened, seeking details on the very same. The Sports Ministry having spoken, the DCW having sent a notice to the Sports Ministry, and now also Sakshi Malik has reached the Sports Ministry where she says that we are hoping to get justice here. We are sure that they will listen to us. We just heard from the Haryana Chief Minister Manohar Lal Khattar, who said that it is our duty to ensure that our wrestlers, our sporting talent is not demoralized like this. And we will look into every detail that is coming in of the allegations that they are now levelling against the Wrestling Federation of India. Bajrang Punia also went on to state in the morning here that there is a high possibility that the top boss, that is Brij Bhushan Sharan, is trying to flee the country. He's pulling strings to do so. And of course, on the side of it, we also saw how some netas were trying to gain political mileage out of it, but they were told very, very respectfully and bluntly that they need to leave.
Yes,
and
Suesha, I'm sorry, I'll have to interrupt you there. Just hold your thoughts for a moment. We have ID Nanavati, Senior Vice President of the WFI and President of Gujarat Wrestling Federation, joining us. If you can talk to us, about how is the federation looking into the allegations that have been made, because this is not just one wrestler to have made these allegations. Several of these wrestlers who are on the streets demanding action and making those grave allegations of not just sexual harassment but even mental torture and even death threats to have been issued to several of these wrestlers.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. See, all these allegations regarding sexual harassment and all against the women wrestlers, plus wrestlers, are against the president only of Wrestling Federation of India. Some media or some people are dragging anti-wrestling federation in this matter. See, we have observed from this news that not a single other office bearer of the Wrestling Federation of India is alleged for these allegations. It is only against the president. So it is an individual case. Wrestling Federation has nothing to do with this thing. Whatever the agitations and all these things they are doing, the president has already explained, and I am also of the opinion that we have made certain changes in the rules in the interest of wrestlers, and that all wrestlers may not like in their interest, and that is why this has happened. This is the counter argument. I don't want to.
Are you trying to say that all these allegations are baseless? And talking about these allegations, what action has the WFI taken so far? Are you thinking of sacking the WFI chief?
No. All allegations are against the president only, not against the WFI. Because here the involvement are of president and some coaches. Coaches are not the members of the WFI. So no other office bearers are involved in this thing. So please don't blame the other office bearers also. I am senior vice president. I know that no other office bearers are involved in this thing. And allegations are also in the name of president only.
So what action would the WFI be taking next? Because the centre has given a 72-hour deadline. How is the WFI tackling this whole issue? What have you initiated an action from your end against the WFI chief?
No doubt government has given a deadline to reply of 72 hours, which expires tomorrow. But we can't call so urgently meeting of all elect members. So still, we have called a meeting on 22nd morning, and there members will discuss and take decision.
Stay with us. We have Suesha also. She would also want to take a question from you. But
No.
Yes, Mr. Nanavati, while you give a clean chit to all the other members of the WFI, sir, I just want to understand that were these complaints coming to the WFI? Were they sidelined?
No. Sideline is WFI means only office bearers and members, not
Sir,
coaches.
you were
Their
working with
allegations
Brij
are
Bhushan
against
Sharan. Were you aware of the fact that these practices... Were you aware of the fact that these practices were prevalent in the system, that Brij Bhushan Sharan could be exploiting young talent, female talent like this?
No, I do not want to encourage such thing, any sports. That is very bad thing. But I am not, I am telling that not other office bearers are involved in this thing. Only coaches are involved. They have said that coaches are doing
yes, sir, but I am asking you.
Right? Yeah.
Mr. Nanavati, I am asking you that what Brij Bhushan Sharan was doing, were the other members, were the other senior officers of the WFI aware of what he was doing? Did they know that this is how he was exploiting female wrestlers like this?
No, I am not aware of all these things. Personally myself, I am not aware of all these things. I have never heard such things. So I can't comment on these things.
But Mr. Nanavati, the wrestlers are outrightly saying that their voices were being suppressed by the WFI officials.
No, I am not against wrestlers. Whatever they have said, it requires investigations. Because you see, this allegation is such which anyone can put against anyone. It is very cheap allegation. So, but you will need that there should be some proof, and if proof is there, action should be taken. I am not supporting such things.
All right, Mr. Nanavati, many thanks for speaking to Republic this afternoon. Samiksha, we also have with us Rohtash Singh, who's the president of the Haryana Wrestling Association. Rohtash जी, आज सभी रेसलर्स, चाहे वो सीनियर हो, चाहे वो बजरंग पुनिया के साथ के हो या फिर यंग रेसलर्स हो, सब बहुत लार्ज नंबर्स में आए हैं ये प्रोटेस्ट के अगेंस्ट, क्योंकि वो कह रहे हैं कि ये बहुत सालों से चल रहा है. आज बजरंग पुनिया, साक्षी मलिक, विनीशा फोगाट ने इस बारे में बात की है, पर इतने सालों से किसी में बात करने की हिम्मत नहीं थी. क्या पता था आपको?
देखिए मैडम जी, ये जो बात आज सामने आई है, ब्रजभूषण जी आज से कुश्ती के अध्यक्ष नहीं है, पिछले 12 साल से कुश्ती के अध्यक्ष है. और भारत की कुश्ती ने जो 12 साल में अचीव किया है, पिछले 100 साल में भी अचीव नहीं किया था. तो उनके प्रिंसिपल, उनके पारदर्शिता, उनका अनुशासन, चरित्र निर्माण और अच्छे प्लेटफार्म और ज्यादा से ज्यादा कंपटीशन देने की वजह से ही भारत के खिलाड़ियों ने अपनी पहचान बनाई और इस मुकाम तक कुश्ती को लेकर आए. रही बात आज जो खिलाड़ी वहां बैठे हैं, ये इसी कुश्ती के इन्हीं अध्यक्ष के बारे में इतनी बधाई के कसीदे पढ़े हैं इन्होंने. पिछले साल भी खुद बजरंग पुनिया ने यह बयान दिया था अमेठी के अंदर, ऐसे अध्यक्ष सभी फेडरेशनों को मिलने चाहिए, क्योंकि जितना अच्छा अनुशासन और जितने प्लेटफार्म. और मैं एक चीज और बताना चाहूंगा, हिंदुस्तान की कोई भी टीम इतनी बार इंटरनेशनल टूर्नामेंटों में नहीं गई होगी जितनी बार कुश्ती की गई है. साल में कम से कम 40 बार हिंदुस्तान की टीम बाहर प्रदर्शन करके आई है अच्छी परफॉर्मेंस के साथ. नंबर एक. नंबर दूसरी बात मैं कहना
पर मेरा आपसे सवाल ये है सर कि फिर बजरंग पुनिया, साक्षी मलिक जैसे इतने सीनियर रेसलर्स हैं, वो इस तरह के एलिगेशंस क्यों लगा रहे हैं उन पे? क्या दम है इन सब एलिगेशंस में?
मैं एक बात अब आपके माध्यम से पूछना चाहूंगा. इन्हीं सीनियर प्लेयरों से, ये देश की शान भी है, ये 12 साल तक खेलते रहे, इन्होंने अचीव एक दिन में तो किया नहीं है. पिछले कई सालों से एक कुश्ती खेल रहे हैं और इतना बड़ा एक माइलेज इन्होंने अचीव किया है. तो उस अचीव करने में ये आज ही 12 साल के बाद ही क्यों बोल रहे हैं? इससे पहले कभी नहीं बोले. अगर ऐसी बात थी तो यहाँ पे जो बैठे हैं कुछ खिलाड़ी और कुछ कोचेज, मैं बता सकता हूँ जो इनके कोच भी रहे हैं, लड़कियों के कोच भी रहे हैं, जिन्होंने उन्हीं प्लेयरों के थ्रू द्रोणाचार्य अवार्ड लिए हैं. तो जब वो अवार्ड देते हैं, जब डिफरेंट कैश अवार्ड के लिए अपने अपने नाम भरवाते हैं, तब तो वो कुछ नहीं कहते. और आज यहाँ आके ये कह रहे हैं कि वो शोषण वो कर रहे थे. तो 12 साल से क्या मतलब ये कोच और प्लेयर क्या कर रहे थे? रही बात ये इल्जाम लगाने की.
जी रोहताश सिंह जी, धन्यवाद करना चाहूंगी आपका. जी धन्यवाद करना चाहूंगी आपका रिपब्लिक से बात करने के लिए. विक्रम यादव जी हमारे साथ जुड़ रहे हैं फोन लाइन पर, खुद रेसलर हैं. विक्रम, ये जो एलिगेशंस आ रही हैं ब्रिजभूषण शरण के अगेंस्ट, आपका क्या कहना है इस बारे में?
इस तरीके से जो सिस्टम मैं सुन रहा हूँ, देख रहा हूँ, ये चीज कि महिला पहलवानों के साथ में इस तरीके से हरकत हुई है, तो हम ये चाहते हैं कि इस तरीके से इस पर जांच हो, इसकी जांच होनी चाहिए. मामला क्या है पूरा? इस तरीके से हमारे महिला खिलाड़ी हैं, ये कब तक ये बल्कि मार खाते रहेंगे, कब तक इनका ये गलत होता रहेगा इनके साथ में? हेलो
जी बिल्कुल मेरी कॉलीग समीक्षा भी है हमारे साथ. समीक्षा, एवरीवन प्रेसिंग फॉर एन इन्वेस्टिगेशन, बट आई बिलीव यू आल्सो हैव अ क्वेश्चन टू हिम. गो अहेड प्लीज.
वेल यस, विक्रम जी हमें थोड़ा और बताइए, क्योंकि ये एलिगेशंस काफ़ी सीरियस हैं. आपको क्या लगता है इतने सालों से क्यों सप्रेस किया जा रहा था इन वॉइसेस को? क्योंकि रेसलर्स ने क्लियरली बोला है कि वो बहुत टाइम से अपने कंसर्न्स फ्लैग कर रहे थे, पर WFI ऑफिशियल्स ने उनकी एक बार भी बात नहीं सुनी.
कुछ पहलवान है, महिला पहलवान हो या पुरुष पहलवान हो, किसी की समस्या ऐसी होती है कि बेचारे कुछ दबे रहते हैं, कुछ बोल नहीं पाते, बड़े लोगों के सामने के लिए उनका करियर खराब हो जाए.
जी
ठीक है. बेचारे बोल नहीं पाते हैं कि हमारे कहीं शिकायत करने से हम शिकायत करते हैं तो हमारा करियर खराब हो जाएगा।
और हमने वाइस प्रेसिडेंट ऑफ WFI से भी बात करी। उनका कहना है कि ये सिर्फ एलिगेशन सिर्फ चीफ के खिलाफ हैं और सिर्फ एक ही ऐसे इंसान है जिनके खिलाफ ये एलिगेशंस हैं। आपका क्या कहना है? पूरी जो भी सारे ऑफिशियल्स हैं WFI उनके खिलाफ भी काफ़ी रेसलर्स ने बोला है। अभी क्या मांग रहेगी अभी सारे रेसलर्स की, इसके अलावा कि जो WFI चीफ है उसको सैक करना चाहिए?
हमारे काफी पहलवान लोग वहाँ जंतर मंतर पे धरना दे रहे हैं, जैसे बजरंग पुनिया जी है, साक्षी मलिक जी है। तो अब उनके साथ ये कोई घटना घटी है तो उसका संज्ञान लेना चाहिए, पूरी जांच होनी चाहिए।
जी
जी
जी धन्यवाद हमसे बात करने के लिए। सो रेसलर विक्रम यादव देयर demanding a thorough probe into these allegations that have been made by the wrestlers who say that their voices have long been suppressed, and finally they've spoken out saying that they've not just been sexually harassed but even mentally tortured and even faced death threats from the heads of the WFI. We'll slip into a very short break for now, but our coverage to continue on the other side of this very short.
11,000 placements last year. At Amity, we are committed to nurturing passionate, hardworking and proactive professionals.
Well, I think it's important not to be circumspect in terms of the issue, but look at the facts. The facts are that the door did open by mistake while the plane was on the ground. All the checks were taken, and after that only the plane was allowed to take off. And he also said sorry for it himself. So.
Right now I'm reporting from the Jantar Mantar of National Capital, and behind me are the wrestlers who are protesting at this point in time. You can see Bajrang Punia sitting there, you can see many other faces who are very known and have got a medal for the country, and they want the federation to be changed.
This recovery has been made in the Gurdaspur sector nearby the international border, and in fact the BSF has recovered 4 made in China pistols along with 8 magazines and 47 rounds. And even according to the statement of BSF, they have spotted a drone on the intervening night of 17th and 18th January, in following which they have opened the fire. And in fact in the morning, after searching the area, they have recovered a huge cache of arms and ammunition, and in fact further investigation is on with the help of the local police.
बहुत बड़ा एलिगेशन जो इन खिलाड़ियों के साथ बीतता है वही लगा रहे हैं वो। पुनिया जी भाई लड़कियों ने बोला है तो कुछ सच होगा वो।
पुनिया जी आगे कैसे होगा? पुनिया जी आगे कैसे होगा?
Well, I think it's important not to be circumspect in terms of the issue, but look at the facts. The facts are that the door did open by mistake while the plane was on the ground. All the checks were taken, and after that only the plane was allowed to take off. And he also said sorry for it himself. So.
Right now I'm reporting from the Jantar Mantar of National Capital, and behind me are the wrestlers who are protesting at this point in time. You can see Bajrang Punia sitting there, you can see many other faces who are very known and have got a medal for the country, and they want the federation to be changed.
This recovery has been made in the Gurdaspur sector nearby the international border, and in fact the BSF has recovered 4 made in China pistols along with 8 magazines and 47 rounds. And even according to the statement of BSF, they have spotted a drone on the intervening night of 17th and 18th January, in following which they have opened the fire. And in fact in the morning, after searching the area, they have recovered a huge cache of arms and ammunition, and in fact further investigation is on with the help of the local police.
We continue our rolling coverage from Jantar Mantar. Right now, we're seeing that wrestlers meeting the officials of the sports ministry. Those visuals are coming for you right now on Republic TV. These are visuals coming in as wrestlers continue their protests against the sitting BJP MP and President of the Wrestling Federation of India, Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh. Olympic champion Bajrang Punia has told everybody a short while back, even Republic TV, directly to Republic TV, Suesha Sawant, that he is going to meet the Sports Ministry officials. And those are the visuals that you can see on your screen as well. Let's go to Piyush Mishra, who's joining us. Piyush, you are there. Just take us through exactly what we can expect next. Now, this is very important because they are going to meet the Sports Ministry officials. They will put their demands forward. Go ahead, Piyush. All right, let's go to Suesha. Right now. Suesha, right now we are seeing visuals come in. All our viewers are seeing visuals come in of the wrestlers of the Sports Ministry. And these visuals are coming in as the demands of the wrestlers are very clear. They want that the WFI president be sacked, and many of the demands coming in. Suesha, over to you.
Yes. Yes, and you see, Shivangi, how the protests here are growing. There are a lot of wrestlers who've come from Haryana, and they are senior wrestlers who are lauding the likes of Bajrang Punia for really putting up this fight. आप कहाँ से आए हैं?
मैं दिल्ली से।
अच्छा।
नांगल ठाकरान का राजेश अकेडमी अपनी दिल्ली में नांगल ठाकरान में।
आज सर सभी रेसलर्स आए हैं हरियाणा से, दिल्ली से, इनको सपोर्ट करने के लिए कि उन्होंने इतनी हिम्मत दिखाई है ये लड़ाई लड़ने के लिए। क्या इश्यूज आ रहे थे?
फेडरेशन की तरफ से काफी दबाव बनाया जा रहा है बच्चों को, इसलिए अभी बजरंग पहलवान और दिनेश ने उन्हें हिम्मत दिखाई है उनके सामने बोलने की। उनके सामने कोई बोल ही नहीं पा रहा था, इतना दबाव बना दिया था उनका। जो उन्होंने कहे तानाशाह कर दिया था, काम सारा तानाशाही हो रही थी, उसके खिलाफ उन्होंने आवाज़ उठाई है। ये एक बहुत बड़ा कदम है। ये फेडरेशन चेंज होनी ही चाहिए। ये क्या पूरी स्टेटों की फेडरेशन चेंज होनी चाहिए। स्टेट में है जो फेडरेशन के आदमी है वो जिसको अखाड़ा भी नहीं है उनके फेडरेशन में वोट है। जो अखाड़े चल रहे हैं उनकी वोट भी नहीं है। मैंने खुद अपने अखाड़े की तरफ से नेशनल चैंपियन भी लड़के हैं, सारे हर तरह के प्लेयर हैं। हमने एप्लीकेशन लेके वोट बनाए जाए हमारी खाड़ी दिल्ली फेडरेशन की तरफ से। भी नहीं, जो उनके हैं और वही वोट करते हैं, उसी से बन जाते हैं वो। तो सारा ही सिस्टम खराब हो रखा है नीचे से ही। सारी जो स्टेटों की फेडरेशन है वो भी उन्हीं के हिसाब से है।
बहुत सवाल पूछे जा रहे हैं कि 12 साल तक चुप क्यों थे? 12 साल से बृजभूषण शरण
किसी उसकी पावर के सामने किसी की हिम्मत ही नहीं थी बोलने की। उसके इतने वो बाहुबली इतना है और उसकी हिम्मत नहीं किसी को बोलने की। उसके सामने बोलने का प्रयास है बजरंग पहलवान ने। ये सब प्रयास किया, ये बहुत अच्छा प्रयास है। रेसलिंग के लिए बहुत अच्छा काम किया उसने, इस रेसलिंग को जिलाने के लिए। और हम साथ हैं, कभी तन मन धन से साथ हैं। इतना बढ़िया काम किया है।
जब तक हमारा पूरा काम नहीं हो जाता, WFI भंग नहीं हो जाती, तब तक हम पीछे नहीं हटेंगे। हम यहीं पर बैठे रहेंगे, लड़ेंगे, अंतिम लड़ाई तक लड़ेंगे, आखिरी तक।
कहाँ से रेसलर्स आए हैं ये इस लड़ाई में जुड़ने के लिए?
झज्जर, आल हरियाणा, पूरे देश से, यूपी से, दिल्ली से, पंजाब से, हर जगह से यहाँ पर आए पहुँचे हैं। पूरे देश से यहाँ पर पहुँचा है।
और क्या क्या पता है आप लोग को रेसलिंग फेडरेशन के बारे में? कितने सालों से ये चल रहा था? इनसे भी एक सवाल पूछना चाहूंगी।
ऐसा जी, ये बहुत बड़े खिलाड़ियों का नाम है जो यहाँ धरने पे बैठे हैं। असली हीरो इस देश के ये हैं। ये अगर ये देखो, जब इनके साथ इतना बड़ा शोषण हो रहा है तो मान के चलो जो हमारी बेटियां हैं जो जूनियर, वो कितना सहन कर रही होंगी। आज ये इनसे हौसला में लगा जो हमारे जूनियर खिलाड़ी हैं उनको भी, कि इतना बड़ा शोषण 12 साल से चला हुआ है। और हम आपके मीडिया के माध्यम से सभी मीडिया बंधुओं का धन्यवाद करते हैं कि तुरंत मोदी सरकार से कि ब्रजभूषण को बर्खास्त करे और जेल के अंदर डाले, क्योंकि कोई भी बहन बेटी अपने ऊपर इतना बड़ा एलिगेशन नहीं लगवा सकती। ये बहुत बड़े जब पानी सर से ऊपर जा लिया तब ये बातें सामने आई है निकल कर। और मैं बार बार नमस्कार करता हूँ उनके माता पिता को और इन होनहार बेटियों को जिन्होंने ये हौसला दिखाया और आज पूरा भारत इनके साथ खड़ा है। और भी मीडिया के माध्यम से मैं अनुरोध करूंगा कि आज हमारे जो असली हीरो हैं वो आज दुख की घड़ी में
कब तक बैठे रहेंगे यहाँ धरने पे?
जब तक हमें न्याय नहीं मिलेगा, जब तक ये पहलवान संतुष्ट नहीं होंगे किसी भी कार्रवाई से, तब तक हम यहीं रहेंगे।
मैं इसका जवाब दूंगा मैडम, फिर आप लोग व्यवस्था बना दोगे? मैं इस बात का जवाब देने के लिए तैयार हूँ। बजरंग पुनिया गया है, हमारी एक कमेटी है, हमारी कमेटी का एक फैसला होगा और जब हमारी मांग पूरी हो जाएगी ना, WFI के अध्यक्ष को हटा दिया, उसके बाद हम यहाँ से उठ जाएंगे। बस ये है, बस और कुछ नहीं।
All right. So you see how all of them are sitting here, and they are saying that we will not get up. We will not get up.
पहुंचने वाले हैं, जो हमारी कमेटी है वो पहुंचने वाले।
All right, let's go to Piyush as well. Piyush is joining us live. Piyush, I'm just coming over to you right now. We're seeing visuals coming in of the wrestlers and meeting the sports ministry officials. Very big demands being made. They want new coaches, they want physios, they want better amenities, and what they're asking for are basic rights that any sports person who represents India and gets medals for India should have.
Well, Shivangi, the biggest demand of these wrestlers is to take action against Brij Bhushan Singh, and that is the demand on which they are sitting there on the Jantar Mantar. In fact, they are demanding that it's not about a 1 day or 2 day thing. It's about the years, and the wrestlers are being exploited for the last more than a decade. Remember that Brij Bhushan Singh has been the part of Wrestling Federation of India for so many days. Right now, I am here at the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, where this meeting is underway. The wrestlers who have been called in by the Sports Ministry, they are right now inside the Sports Ministry as we are speaking. The meeting is underway. Wrestlers like Sakshi Malik, Bajrang Punia, Vinesh Fogart, they all are inside the meeting as we are speaking. And it is a big meet which has now been called in by Sports Ministry, where Sports Ministry is now trying to understand the grievances of all the wrestlers. Remember that yesterday itself, Sports Ministry had issued a statement where it had made it very, very categorical that it is not going to tolerate any kind of such things. In fact, a 72 hours deadline has been given to Wrestling Federation of India and especially to Brij Bhushan Singh, where they have to respond to the allegations. Those are now being levelled by the wrestlers, and if they fail to do so, then Sports Ministry will intervene and then they will take action. As we are speaking, the wrestlers are meeting with Sports Secretary Sujata Chaturvedi, and the meeting is underway. It's been more than half an hour. The meeting is going on at Sports Ministry in Shastri Bhavan. We are right now live from the same department, Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, where this meeting right now, as we are speaking, is underway. We'll have to wait and watch what comes out of this meeting. Before entering inside the meeting, we also spoke to Sakshi Malik, where she told us that she is very much assured that she would get justice. But now we'll have to wait and watch what comes out of this meeting. Shivangi.
All right, let's go to Swesha as well. Swesha, like Piyush was telling us, a big demand coming in that the WFI president, Brij Bhushan Singh, be removed from the top post and he should be sacked. Very big demand, and they're very, very serious allegations being leveled, Swesha. What are the details you're picking up right now, the latest coming in?
Oh yes, and you hear the very many voices coming in, Shivangi. These are senior wrestlers, these are budding wrestlers, and you just heard from them where they are saying that they have just been bossing their way around all these years. That is what the Wrestling Federation of India has been doing, and Brij Bhushan Sharan is really the man in the eye of the storm right now. He is the man who has been exploiting young talent in the sporting fraternity through the Wrestling Federation of India, and we also heard from many of his colleagues who say that they are not aware that this was happening, while they say that not all in the system are rotten. There are some good apples too, and really when he went on to say that these are allegations of very, very grave in nature, and they must be looked into. This is exactly what is also happening at the Sports Ministry, where Bajrang Punia is present, and he along with Sakshi Malik and the others are meeting with the delegation that has been appointed to look into all these allegations that have been made. But really the senior wrestlers lauding the likes of Bajrang Punia, Sakshi Malik, Vinisha Fogart, saying that they've had the courage to come out and speak. Fact is that the way Brij Bhushan Sharan Sharan was dominating the entire system, and the kind of clout he held, it was very, very difficult to speak against this man. It was very, very difficult to expose this man, because for him it would take no time to finish any small pea in the pond. But it was really the others who contemplated, or who may have thought but never had the courage to take him on. So for the likes of Bajrang Punia, Sakshi Malik, Vinisha Fogart and the others who are sitting right here, Babita Fogart also in support, saying that it is high time. Bajrang Punia saying that we need to cleanse the system for the future generations. This is not what budding talent can really go through. This is not the kind of exploitation that they should be put through when they come with such aspirations of following their icons who are Bajrang Punia, Sakshi Malik, and they want to be like them. But it is only this harsh reality within the system that must be put an end to, because this is the filth that has been continuing for years. And on the outset it may seem like all is well, and there is a lot of discipline, but it is these wrestlers who win laurels for the country, and it is high time that their vows are now heard.
Right, Suesha. And we also saw Anshu Malik, top sportsperson. She made some allegations. And these allegations are about World Championships, which took place in Bulgaria. And she's made some very serious allegations. Let's play out that soundbite of Anshu Malik.
जूनियर वर्ल्ड चैंपियनशिप थी अभी बुल्गारिया में, वहां पे प्रेसिडेंट सर उसी होटल में रहे जहां पे टीम थी, उसी जहां पे लड़कियों के रूम थे, महिला खिलाड़ियों के रूम थे, उन्हीं के रूम के सामने उन्होंने रूम लिया। मेरे को खुद जूनियर खिलाड़ियों ने बताया है कि वो रूम हमेशा अपना ओपन रखते थे, जबकि उनके सामने महिला खिलाड़ियां रहती थी। महिला खिलाड़ियां उन्हें बताया कि वो अपने रूम में से सिर्फ ट्रेनिंग के लिए ही निकल पाती थी, और अगर वो उस रूम में वो आप कंपटीशन में गए हुए हो और वहां पे खिलाड़ी कंफर्टेबल नहीं है रूम में ही, तो अब कैसे आप कंपटीशन लड़ोगे या खुद को कंफर्टेबल करोगे वहां पे? और ये रूल है कि कोई भी किसी भी फेडरेशन का प्रेसिडेंट जिस होटल में खिलाड़ी रह रहे हैं उस होटल में नहीं रुक सकता। तो लड़कियां ये बोल रही हैं कि हम कुश्ती लड़ने के बाद या ऑफ टाइम हो रहा है, हम होटल में आ रहे हैं, तो हम उस फ्लोर पे भी नहीं जा रहे हैं जहां पे प्रेसिडेंट सर का रूम था और जिस रूम के सामने लड़कियों के रूम थे। लड़कियां नीचे बैठी हैं, जूनियर खिलाड़ी, जूनियर लड़कियां वो भी कंफर्टेबल नहीं है। तो आप सोच सकते हो किसी
The wrestlers themselves, remember the slogans are getting louder in the background where they say that aaj nahi to kabhi nahi. So they say that it is time now to continue with this fight, to bring it to its logical end, to bring it to its logical conclusion, and they are not going to back down unless and until Brij Bhushan Sharan is sacked. That's the very demand coming from Republic as we stand with all the wrestlers. That's the hashtag that you must take in as you put in your views on this story. We have to slip into a very short commercial break. We'll be back on the other side. Republic with wrestlers, the slogans getting louder, and Bajrang Punia at the Sports Ministry.
$11,000 placements last year. At Amity, we are committed to nurturing passionate, hardworking and proactive professionals.
When timeless European design meets cutting-edge technology, it's QO. QO, European Bath Lounges.
Right now I'm reporting from the Jantar Mantar of National Capital, and behind me are the wrestlers who are protesting at this point in time. You can see Bajrang Punia sitting there, you can see many other faces who are very known and have got a medal for the country, and they want the federation to be changed.
This recovery has been made in the Gurdaspur sector nearby the international border, and in fact the BSF has recovered 4 made in China pistols along with 8 magazines and 47 rounds. And even according to the statement of BSF, they have spotted a drone on the intervening night of 17th and 18th January, in following which they have opened the fire. And in fact Morning, after searching the area, they have recovered a huge cache of arms and ammunition, and in fact further investigation is on with the help of the local police.
बहुत बड़ा एलिगेशन
जो इन खिलाड़ियों के साथ बीतता है वही लगा रहे हैं वो। भाई लड़कियों ने बोला है तो कुछ सच होगा।
पुनिया जी आगे कैसे होगा? पुनिया जी आगे कैसे होगा?
Well, I think it's important not to be circumspect in terms of the issue, but look at the facts. The facts are that the door did open by mistake while the plane was on the ground. All the checks were taken, and after that only the plane was allowed to take off. And he also said sorry for it himself. So.
Right now I'm reporting from the Jantar Mantar of National Capital, and behind me are the wrestlers who are protesting at this point in time. You can see Bajrang Punia sitting there, you can see many other faces who are very...
ಬಂಜಾರ ನಗಾರವನ್ನ ಬಾರಿಸೋದ್ರ ಮುಖೇನ ಪ್ರಧಾನಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳು ಇದೀಗ ಅಭೂತಪೂರ್ವ ಚಾಲನೆಯನ್ನು ನೀಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಐ ವುಡ್ ನೌ ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ದಿ ಆನರಬಲ್ ಪ್ರೈಮ್ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟರ್ ವಿತ್ ದಿ ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಬಟನ್ ಟು ಕೈಂಡ್ಲಿ ಇನಾಗ್ರೇಟ್ ದಿ ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಹಕ್ಕುಪತ್ರಗಳ ವಿತರಣೆಯ ನಿಟ್ಟಿನಲ್ಲಿ ರಿಮೋಟ್ ಒತ್ತುವ ಮುಖೇನ ಇದೀಗ ಉದ್ಘಾಟನೆ.
ಭಾರತ ದೇಶದ ಚರಿತ್ರೆ ಪರಂಪರೆಯ ಭಾಗವಾದ ಲಂಬಾಣಿಗಳು ಇಲ್ಲಿನ ವಿಶಿಷ್ಟ ಚರ ಪಶುಪಾಲ್ಕುಲದ ಪಂಗಡಗಳ ಭಾಗವಾಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಗೌರವಾನ್ವಿತ ಪ್ರಧಾನಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳಾದ ಶ್ರೀ ನರೇಂದ್ರ ಮೋದಿಯವರ ಮಾರ್ಗದರ್ಶನದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ಮಹತ್ವಾಕಾಂಕ್ಷಿ ಸ್ವಾಮಿತ್ವ ಯೋಜನೆಯನ್ನು ಸಮರ್ಥವಾಗಿ ಬಳಸಿಕೊಂಡ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ರಾಜ್ಯ ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ಕಂದಾಯ ಇಲಾಖೆಯ ಕ್ರಾಂತಿಕಾರಿ ಬದಲಾವಣೆಯ ಹೆಜ್ಜೆ.
All right, viewers, the visuals coming in, the Prime Minister there in Karnataka there, and he's been holding some rallies, speaking to people as well. So we are seeing these visuals coming in of the Prime Minister in Karnataka. And remember that Karnataka will soon be going to polls at this point of time. A couple of points being made with the Prime Minister. He's saying that development is the #1 priority as well. A couple of points being made. The Prime Minister is in Karnataka, and this is the Prime Minister's second visit to poll-bound Karnataka this year in January. So we are seeing these visuals come in. Also, he will be laying the foundation stone and inaugurating many development projects valued at over 10,800 crores in Karnataka and the various districts of Karnataka. He was speaking at an event a short while back in northern Karnataka as well. Taking a very short break, we continue to be live and breaking. Stay tuned.
When timeless European design meets cutting-edge technology, it's QO. QO, European bath lounges.
This recovery has been made in the Gurdaspur sector nearby the international border, and in fact the BSF has recovered 4 made-in-China pistols along with 8 magazines and 47 rounds. And even according to the statement of BSF, they have spotted a drone on the intervening night of 17th and 18th January, and following which they have opened the fire. And in fact in the morning, after searching the area, they have recovered a huge cache of arms and ammunition, and in fact further investigation is on with the help of the local police.
बहुत बड़ा एलिगेशन
जो इन खिलाड़ियों के साथ बीतता है वही लगा रहे हैं वो। भाई लड़कियों ने बोला है तो कुछ सच होगा।
पुनिया जी आगे कैसे होगा? पुनिया जी आगे कैसे होगा?
Well, I think it's important not to be circumspect in terms of the issue, but look at the facts. The facts are that the door did open by mistake while the plane was on the ground. All the checks were taken, and after that only the plane was allowed to take off. And he also said sorry for it himself. So.
Right now I'm reporting from the Jantar Mantar of National Capital, and behind me are the wrestlers who are protesting at this point in time. You can see Bajrang Punia sitting there, you can see many other faces who are very known and have got a medal for the country, and they want the federation to be changed.
This recovery has been made in the Gurdaspur sector nearby the international border, and in fact the BSF has recovered 4 made in China pistols along with 8 magazines and 47 rounds. And even according to the statement of BSF, they have spotted a drone on the intervening night of 17th and 18th January, and following which they have opened the fire. And in fact in the morning, after searching the area, they have recovered a huge cache of arms and ammunitions, and in fact further investigation is on with the help of the local police.
बहुत बड़ा एलिगेशन
जो इन खिलाड़ियों के साथ बीतता है वही लगा रहे हैं वो। भाई लड़कियों ने बोला है तो कुछ सच होगा।
पुनिया जी आगे कैसे होगा? पुनिया जी आगे कैसे होगा?
Well, I think it's important not to be circumspect in terms of the issue, but look at the facts. The facts are.
Getting some update coming in from Delhi. Delhi police have informed that DCW Chief Swati Maliwal was dragged, I repeat, dragged by car for 10 to 15 meters at around 3:11 a.m. opposite Ames Gate 2 after her hand got stuck in a car's window as the driver Harish Chandra has suddenly pulled up the glass window while she was reprimanding him as he asked her to sit in his car. Let's go ahead to Piyush, who's joining us. Piyush, take our viewers through what happened, because the DCW chief has been dragged by the car for 10 to 15 meters.
So sudden shocking claim is now coming in from Swati Maliwal, the Delhi Commissioner for Women chairperson, saying that she was dragged for at least 10 to 15 meters when she was on inspection on the safety and security of women in the national capital, and this happened late last night. According to Swati Maliwal, she was on inspection. She was by a person, and when she back. She dragged her for 10 to 15 minutes. That's a big claim which is now coming in from Swati Maliwal. Delhi police has registered a case, and what we're now learning is that Delhi police has arrested the man who is now accused in this entire case.
Right, Piyush. And also we have a sound bite as well of the DCW chief. Let's play that out. All right, we have the Delhi police bite. Let's play out that sound bite for our viewers.
अर्ली मॉर्निंग 3:11 पे पीसीआर कंट्रोल रूम से हौस खास पुलिस स्टेशन में एक कॉल मिली। कॉल के अनुसार एम्स बस स्टॉप के बैक साइड गाड़ी नंबर बलिनो वाइट कलर वाले ने लेडी की तरफ गलत इशारे किए हैं और लेडी को घसीटा है, पर लेडी बच गई। इस मामले में इमीडिएट रिस्पांस था डिस्ट्रिक्ट की जो पीसीआर वैन्स हैं, और हमारे डिस्ट्रिक्ट में 5 गरुड़ा व्हीकल्स हैं जो रात में और दिन में स्पेशल इनकी पेट्रोलिंग स्कीम है। बेसिकली इसमें जो लेडी थी उनको आइडेंटिफाई किया गया स्वाति मालीवाल के तौर पे। ये कोटला के एरिया में एम्स का जो गेट नंबर 2 है उसके ऑपोजिट साइड किदवई नगर के एरिया में, जो कि कोटला के जुरिस्डिक्शन में आता है, वहाँ खड़ी थी अपनी टीम के साथ। इनकी टीम थोड़े डिस्टेंस पे थी। ये थी इनके अनुसार 2:45 बजे के आसपास ये फुटपाथ पे जब खड़ी थी तो एक गाड़ी आई सफ़ेद रंग की। गाड़ी वाले में एक अकेला ड्राइवर था। ड्राइवर ने इनको बोला कि कहीं छोड़ दें, इनको लिफ्ट देने का ऑफ़र किया और इनको इंसिस्ट किया कि ये गाड़ी में बैठें। इन्होंने मना किया। इसके बाद ड्राइवर ने इनको गलत तरीके से देखा इनकी कंप्लेंट के अनुसार, और सब्सिक्वेंटली गाड़ी वाला आगे चला गया। फिर गाड़ी वाले ने गाड़ी को यू टर्न लिया सर्विस रोड से और दोबारा इनके पास आया और दोबारा लिफ्ट का ऑफ़र किया। इन्होंने गाड़ी के पास जाकर गाड़ी वाले को रेप्रिमांड किया। उसी दौरान इनकी कंप्लेंट के मुताबिक गाड़ी वाले ने गाड़ी का शीशा ऊपर किया, जिसमें इनका हाथ दब गया और करीब 10-15 मीटर तक ये ड्रैग हुई। इसके बाद ये खड़ी रहीं। इमीडिएटली 3:05 पे डिस्ट्रिक्ट की गरुड़ा 1 स्पॉट पे पहुंच गई और गरुड़ा 1 ने इनको जब वहां खड़ा पाया तो उनसे पूछताछ की कि क्या इनको किसी चीज़ की ज़रूरत है या किसी डिस्ट्रेस में है। तब इन्होंने ये हालात बताए। गरुड़ा ने 112 नंबर की कॉल की और गरुड़ा के कॉल के मुताबिक ये कॉल हौस खास में दी गई। हौस खास से पता चला कि ये एरिया कोटला मुबारकपुर पुलिस स्टेशन का है। इमीडिएटली 3:12 पे साउथ डिस्ट्रिक्ट कंट्रोल रूम ने ये ब्रॉडकास्ट मैसेज किया जिसमें गाड़ी का नंबर बताया गया। 3:20 पर मोबाइल 28 जो कि कोटला थाने की है वो मौके पे पहुंच गई। 3:22 पे ब्रेवो इंस्पेक्टर इन्वेस्टिगेशन डिफेंस कॉलोनी के अपनी मोबाइल के साथ पहुंच गए मौके पे। सब्सिक्वेंटली ईगल जो हमारी पीसीआर व्हीकल है वो भी पहुंच गई। एटीओ और ब्रेवो कोटला मुबारकपुर के भी मौके पे 3:30 तक पहुंच गए। एसीपी हौस खास जिनकी कल नाइट ड्यूटी थी वो भी मौके पे प्रॉम्प्टली पहुंचे और 3:34 पे हमारी पीसीआर व्हीकल ने उस गाड़ी को एप्रीहेंड कर लिया गरुणा की मदद से। गाड़ी में जो इंसान था, शख्स था, 47 साल की उम्र है उसकी, उसको एप्रीहेंड कर लिया गया। इमिडिएटली उसको मेडिकल के लिए भिजवाया गया। उसके ब्लड सैंपल में अल्कोहल कंटेंट निकला। सब्सिक्वेंटली स्वाति मालीवाल जी का स्टेटमेंट लिया गया और उनका भी मेडिकल कराया गया। तत्पश्चात हमने प्रॉम्प्टली केस रजिस्टर करने की प्रक्रिया शुरू की और इस मामले में कोटला मुबारक पुलिस स्टेशन में एक एफआईआर दर्ज की गई है और अक्यूज्ड को हमने अरेस्ट कर लिया है।
All right, viewers, and there is also a tweet by Swati Maliwal. Let me read it out for you. It says, late last night, I was inspecting the situation of women's security in Delhi. A car driver molested me in an inebriated condition. When I caught hold of him, he locked my hand in the car window and he dragged me. And this is another statement coming out. If the chairperson of the Women's Commission is not safe in Delhi, then imagine the situation. A tweet coming out from Swati Maliwal. Taking a very short break right now, viewers. Much more coming up on the other side. We continue to be live and breaking. Also, the protests continue from a 72-hour deadline to WFI to a Meet with Sports Ministry panel, back-to-back win for the wrestlers. Stay tuned. Also, the Prime Minister in Karnataka, and also it's a big mega Mumbai visit coming up soon where many mega development projects will be launched. Stay tuned.
$11,000 placements last year. At Amity, we are committed to nurturing passionate, hardworking and proactive professionals.
बहुत बड़ा एलिगेशन जो इन खिलाड़ियों के साथ बीतता है वही लगा रहे हैं वो। भाई लड़कियों ने बोला है तो कुछ सच होगा।
पुनिया जी आगे कैसे होगा? पुनिया जी आगे कैसे होगा?
Well, I think it's important not to be circumspect in terms of the issue, but look at the facts. The facts are that the door did open by mistake while the plane was on the ground. All the checks were taken, and after that only the plane was allowed to take off. And he also said sorry for it himself. So.
Right now I'm reporting from the Jantar Mantar of National Capital, and behind me are the wrestlers who are protesting at this point in time. You can see Bajrang Punia sitting there, you can see many other faces who are very known and have got a medal for the country, and they want the federation to be changed.
This recovery has been made in the Gurdaspur sector nearby the international border, and in fact the BSF has recovered 4 made-in-China pistols along with 8 magazines and 47 rounds. And even according to the statement of BSF, they have spotted a drone on the intervening night of 17th and 18th January, in following which they have opened the fire. And in fact, in the morning after searching the area, they have recovered a huge cache of arms and ammunitions, and in fact further investigation is on with the help of the local police.
बहुत बड़ा एलिगेशन
जो इन खिलाड़ियों के साथ बीतता है वही लगा रहे हैं वो। भाई लड़कियों ने बोला है तो कुछ सच होगा।
पुनिया जी आगे कैसे होगा? पुनिया जी आगे कैसे होगा?
Well, I think it's important not to be circumspect in terms of the issue, but look at the facts. The facts are that the door did open.
continue our rolling coverage here, Republic TV. This story has come out right now. A very shocking incident coming out where the DCW chief has been harassed. The Delhi police have informed that the DCW chief, Swati Maliwal, was dragged by a car for 10 to 15 meters at around 3:11 a.m. opposite the Abe's gate number 2 after her hand got stuck in a car's window as the driver, Harish Chandra, suddenly pulled up the glass window while she was reprimanding him as he asked her to sit in his car. She's also tweeted, viewers, she's also tweeted right now, and she said and added that if the chairperson, if the chief of the Women's Commission is subjected to this kind of action and behavior, then what about the rest of women? Let's go ahead and take a very short break, viewers. Much more coming up on the other side as we continue to be live and breaking. Republic leads fight for our champions. A nation demands sacking of the wrestling bosses named.
When timeless European design meets cutting-edge technology, it's QO. QO, European Bath Lounges.
Right now I'm reporting from the Jantar Mantar of National Capital, and behind me are the wrestlers who are protesting at this point in time. You can see Bajrang Punia sitting there, you can see many other faces who are very known and have got a medal for the country, and they want the federation to be changed.
This recovery has been made in the Gurdaspur sector nearby the international border, and in fact the BSF has recovered 4 made-in-China pistols along with 8 magazines and 47 rounds. And even according to the statement of BSF, they have spotted a drone on the intervening night of 17th and 18th January, and following which they have opened the fire. And in fact in the morning, after searching the area, they have recovered a huge cache of arms and ammunitions, and in fact further investigation is on with the help of the local police.
बहुत बड़ा एलिगेशन
जो इन खिलाड़ियों के साथ बीतता है वही लगा रहे हैं वो। भाई लड़कियों ने बोला है तो कुछ सच होगा।
पुनिया जी आगे कैसे होगा? पुनिया जी आगे कैसे होगा?
Well, I think it's important not to be circumspect in terms of the issue, but look at the facts. The facts are that the door did open by mistake while the plane was on the ground. All the checks were taken, and after that only the plane was allowed to take off. And he also said sorry for it himself. So.
Right now I'm reporting from the Jantar Mantar of National Capital, and behind me are the wrestlers who are protesting at this point in time. You can see Bajrang Punia sitting there, you can see many other faces who are very known and have got a medal for the country, and they want the federation to be changed.
This recovery has been made in the Gurdaspur sector nearby the international border, and in fact the BSF has recovered 4 made-in-China pistols along with 8 magazines and 47 rounds. And even according to the statement of BSF,
All right, we begin with the news break coming in. Swati Maliwal, they're making those big allegations. In fact, the tweet that has been put out by her, where she says, and I quote, late last night, I was inspecting the situation of women's security in Delhi. A car driver molested me in an inebriated condition. And when I caught hold of him, he locked my hand in the car window and dragged me. God save life. It's if the chairperson of Women's Commission is not safe in the national capital, then imagine the situation. So Swati Maliwal there, in fact, taking to social media and saying that a driver molested her in an inebriated condition. In fact, a statement that has also been released by the Delhi police, where they've said that the DCW chief Swati Maliwal was dragged by her by car for 10 to 15 meters at around 3:11 a.m. last night. In fact, we'll try and go across to Piyush and Harsha as well for more details on that. But a sexual assault charge that has been made by DCW chief Swati Maliwal. In fact, a statement that has also been issued by the Delhi police, where they've said that they've been informed by the DCW chief that Swati Maliwal was dragged by a car for 10 to 15 meters at around 3:11 a.m. Opposite the Ames gate in the national capital. In fact, we have a reaction coming in. In fact, a statement coming in from the DCP South District Delhi. Let's listen in.
आज सुबह अर्ली मॉर्निंग 3:11 पे पीसीआर कंट्रोल रूम से हौस खास पुलिस स्टेशन में एक कॉल मिली। कॉल के अनुसार एम्स बस स्टॉप के बैक साइड गाड़ी नंबर बलिनो वाइट कलर वाले ने लेडी की तरफ गलत इशारे किए हैं और लेडी को घसीटा है, पर लेडी बच गई। इस मामले में इमीडिएट रिस्पांस था डिस्ट्रिक्ट की जो पीसीआर वैन्स हैं, और हमारे डिस्ट्रिक्ट में 5 गरुड़ा व्हीकल्स हैं जो रात में और दिन में स्पेशल इनकी पेट्रोलिंग स्कीम है। बेसिकली इसमें जो लेडी थी उनको आइडेंटिफाई किया गया स्वाति मालीवाल के तौर पे। ये कोटला के एरिया में एम्स का जो गेट नंबर 2 है उसके ऑपोजिट साइड किदवई नगर के एरिया में, जो कि कोटला के जुरिस्डिक्शन में आता है, वहाँ खड़ी थी अपनी टीम के साथ। इनकी टीम थोड़े डिस्टेंस पे थी। ये थी इनके अनुसार 2:45 बजे के आसपास ये फुटपाथ पे जब खड़ी थी तो एक गाड़ी आई सफ़ेद रंग की। गाड़ी वाले में एक अकेला ड्राइवर था। ड्राइवर ने इनको बोला कि कहीं छोड़ दें, इनको लिफ्ट देने का ऑफ़र किया और इनको इंसिस्ट किया कि ये गाड़ी में बैठें। इन्होंने मना किया। इसके बाद ड्राइवर ने इनको गलत तरीके से देखा इनकी कंप्लेंट के अनुसार, और सब्सिक्वेंटली गाड़ी वाला आगे चला गया। फिर गाड़ी वाले ने गाड़ी को यू टर्न लिया सर्विस रोड से और दोबारा इनके पास आया और दोबारा लिफ्ट का ऑफ़र किया। इन्होंने गाड़ी के पास जाकर गाड़ी वाले को रेप्रिमांड किया। उसी दौरान इनकी कंप्लेंट के मुताबिक गाड़ी वाले ने गाड़ी का शीशा ऊपर किया, जिसमें इनका हाथ दब गया और करीब 10-15 मीटर तक ये ड्रैग हुई। इसके बाद ये खड़ी रहीं। इमीडिएटली 3:05 पे डिस्ट्रिक्ट की गरुड़ा 1 स्पॉट पे पहुंच गई और गरुड़ा 1 ने इनको जब वहाँ खड़ा पाया तो उनसे पूछताछ की कि क्या इनको किसी चीज़ की ज़रूरत है या किसी डिस्ट्रेस में है। तब इन्होंने ये हालात बताए। गरुड़ा ने 112 नंबर की कॉल की और गरुड़ा के कॉल के मुताबिक ये कॉल हौस खास में दी गई। हौस खास से पता चला कि ये एरिया कोटला मुबारकपुर पुलिस स्टेशन का है। इमीडिएटली 3:12 पे साउथ डिस्ट्रिक्ट कंट्रोल रूम ने ये ब्रॉडकास्ट मैसेज किया जिसमें गाड़ी का नंबर बताया गया। 3:20 पर मोबाइल 28 जो कि कोटला थाने की है वो मौके पे पहुंच गई। 3:22 पे ब्रेवो इंस्पेक्टर इन्वेस्टिगेशन डिफेंस कॉलोनी के अपनी मोबाइल के साथ पहुंच गए मौके पे। सब्सिक्वेंटली ईगल जो हमारी पीसीआर व्हीकल है वो भी पहुंच गई। एटीओ और ब्रेवो कोटला मुबारकपुर के भी मौके पे 3:30 तक पहुंच गए। एसीपी हौस खास जिनकी कल नाइट ड्यूटी थी वो भी मौके पे प्रॉम्प्टली पहुंचे और 3:34 पे हमारी पीसीआर व्हीकल ने उस गाड़ी को एप्रीहेंड कर लिया गरुड़ा की मदद से। गाड़ी में जो इंसान था, शख्स था, 47 साल की उम्र है उसकी, उसको एप्रीहेंड कर लिया गया। इमिडिएटली उसको मेडिकल के लिए भिजवाया गया। उसके ब्लड सैंपल में अल्कोहल कंटेंट निकला। सब्सिक्वेंटली स्वाति मालीवाल जी का स्टेटमेंट लिया गया और उनका भी मेडिकल कराया गया। तत्पश्चात हमने प्रॉम्प्टली केस रजिस्टर करने की प्रक्रिया शुरू की और इस मामले में कोटला मुबारक पुलिस स्टेशन में एक एफआईआर दर्ज की गई है और अक्यूज्ड को हमने अरेस्ट कर लिया है।
The police official saying that the accused in this case has been arrested. This, of course, after those allegations were made by the NCW chief Swati Maliwal, where she's alleged that she was sexually molested. She was harassed outside Ames, the national capital. In fact, in the post that she's put out on social media, where Swati Maliwal has said that she was dragged by a car for 10 to 15 meters, after which a call was made to the PCR and the latest, of course, coming in that the accused was taken for the medical. He's now been arrested. So those are the details that are just trickling in, that the accused has been taken in custody of the Delhi police. But the charge there that's been made by Swati Maliwal raises serious questions on the security of women in the national capital. In fact, just to read out that tweet that has been put out by Swati Maliwal, where she says that how she was molested where she was molested while she was there out inspecting on the situation of women's security in the national capital. We have Deepthi joining us from the Delhi newsroom. Deepthi, for our viewers also who are just tuning in, if you can once again talk to us, what we know so far, because this just raises serious questions on the security of women in the national capital.
It does. And I think Swati Maliwal herself is joining us right now, Samiksha, on the broadcast. Let's quickly take this across to her, because this is a huge story. It's a huge story. And, Swati, why don't you first up tell us what exactly happened with you last night, Swati? Swati, you can hear me? Okay, we'll just try to reconnect with her, because we have spoken, remember, to Swati Maliwal, and she's going to be speaking to Republic. She's going to be putting out her first person account of what really happened with her. And earlier in the day, remember, she's also taken to the social media and she has written about what really went through. Now she says, and I quote her, "Kal der raat मैं दिल्ली में महिला सुरक्षा के हालात इंस्पेक्ट कर रही थी। एक गाड़ी वाले ने नशे की हालत में मुझसे छेड़छाड़ की और जब मैंने उसे पकड़ा तो उसने गाड़ी के शीशे में मेरा हाथ बंद कर मुझे घसीटा." Then Swati goes on to say कि यदि दिल्ली में महिला आयोग की अध्यक्ष सुरक्षित नहीं है तो हाल सोच लीजिए. Not very long ago, you would recall what happened with Anjali, the alleged hit and run case. There are murder charges now that have finally been slapped by the Delhi police on that particular case now. That happened on the intervening nights of the 31st and the 1st in the national capital. And Swati Maliwal now making that huge charge. Remember, she's actually narrating what really happened with her. We'll keep trying her number, because do remember, like I said, the case now is with the police. The police already has arrested this man. This man was said to be in an inebriated state. Now, Swati Maliwal also says that she was molested. She was molested. This happens in the national capital. Now, this actually happened on, people who are familiar with the Delhi roads. This is the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, the main ring road. It's said to be extremely busy. There is a lot of police presence. You do see a lot of police patrolling. And, the moment we connect with Swati Maliwal, I'm just requesting our teams to please keep calling her, because it's important to put out that entire version of what Swati Maliwal has said. Like I said, also, the matter now is with the police. The police has spoken on the entire case. They say they've already arrested this man who then was in an inebriated state. What is even worse is that Swati Maliwal is not just molested. There were gestures, there were innuendos made towards her while she was standing along with her team members close to the dead of the night on a Delhi road. But this is remember, not a very remote area of the national capital. Like I said, the All India Institute of Medical Sciences and the roads around the AIMS campus are said to be usually busy, even when it is dead in the night. You do see a lot of people there. There is a good amount of police presence that we usually see. Now, in spite of that, you have an instance like this that is being reported by Swati. The instance now that is with the police investigating the entire case. Swati Maliwal, I'm told, is back with us. Swati, good afternoon, and thank you so much, Swati, for speaking to us on Republic. It's so important that you speak up today, because this again is an instance, Swati, that has shocked all of us. We hope you are good, Swati. You're a strong lady. You've been fighting the good fight. Please tell us what happened with you.
So I was on an inspection. I wanted to inspect the safety procedures that are in place, what measures the police have taken, how bad are the dark spots in Delhi, and how does a woman feel when she is alone on the streets of Delhi at night. And especially after the Kanjhavla incident, I felt that it is my duty to experience firsthand what probably that girl might have experienced that night. So I was doing that, and I was standing right opposite the AIMS bus stand on the Ashram Road, and there were cars after cars just stopping by, trucks were stopping by, and this one car just stopped next to me, and he started pestering for me to sit in the car, and he would drop me somewhere. And I told him that no, I'm sorry, I don't need your help. My relatives are coming, and I will be picked up very soon. He kept pestering, kept glaring, and then very grudgingly moved away, and then again took a U-turn after 5 to 10 minutes and came back, and then again pestered me. And when I recognized him, I confronted him. He started making very lewd gestures at me, which was horrible. It was just sick. And when I tried to stop him, he rolled over the car, the window of the car, and my hand got stuck in the car, and he just pressed the accelerator extremely hard, because of which the car started running, and I had to run along with it, and I was dragged for 10 to 15 meters, and I was screaming, and another man from my team, he jumped in, and then when he started running behind the car, then only he let go, and it was horrific. It was really scary.
You know, Swati, what you're telling us is shocking, it is disturbing, and I think, you know, most of us who stay in the national capital, we really identify, Swati, with what you say. You know, like you said, this person made gestures, he made innuendos, and he said, come and sit in my car. And when you decided to confront him, this man was inebriated. Swati, in the middle of all this, I want to know, did you see any police patrolling? Was there any police around, Swati?
No, there was absolutely no police patrolling, and in fact, this man, the way he dragged me along, thanks to my team member, I got saved. Otherwise, this man, the way he was dragging me along, I could have been another Anjali, because he was just not letting go, and he was completely reeking of alcohol. And afterwards, when the police arrested him also, he himself admitted, when I was asked to identify him, and I did, he himself admitted that, yes, man, totally drunk.
And you know, Swati, because you spoke about what happened vis-a-vis the Anjali case, you've been on the streets, you've been fighting for Anjali's case. On Republic, we've spoken to you so many times, Swati. You know, when you go through an account like this in first person, you do realize that the danger is so real, Swati. This was you fought this man, you had your team members. And, you know, I cannot even imagine to think what it would have been for anyone else. You know, a lady standing there in the dead of the night, wanting to go back, finished her work, wanted to go back home, much like, you know, what happened with Anjali, Swati. Okay, I think we've just lost that phone line now with Swati. She's just recalling what happened with her late last night. And it's horrific to say the least. It is shocking at the same point. And again, remember, it's not the very first instance where you have this entire story that comes out in the open of how unsafe Delhi literally is when it comes to women. You've seen what happened vis-a-vis the Anjali case. Now, this is something that happened also with Swati Malewal, the DCW chief. And I think we must listen to her account once more. And I'm just requesting our team if we can play out what we've heard from Swati, who was molested. She was asked to come and sit in a car in the dead of the night when she was waiting on the road along with members of her team. And not just this, she was literally dragged for 10 to 15 meters. And all through this, Swati says, I saw absolutely no police patrolling. Samiksha, like I said, a story that is reported from the national capital, but nothing changes. You know, post the Nirbhaya incident, we all thought, Samiksha, things will change. But nothing has changed, and reality comes to bite. Like people say, Samiksha, the DCW chief herself being sexually harassed in the national capital. Well, absolutely, Deepti. You know, serious questions they're being raised about the safety of women in the national capital. And days after that horrific incident of Anjali being dragged also came to light from the national capital. And this, the NCW chief there making that big claim that she was molested in the dead of night, and that too when she was out trying to gauge the situation in the national capital about the situation, about the safety of women in Delhi. Well, on to the other big story that we've been tracking closely. The wrestlers in the national capital continue to stage protest, demanding action against the WFI chief for those allegations that have been made by several of those wrestlers. The latest, of course, coming in that the wrestlers are at the Sports Ministry office seeking a sacking of the WFI chief. In fact, more details are just trickling in that the Sports Ministry has the government has formed a panel that would be looking into the allegations that have been made by the wrestlers. Remember, it's not just sexual harassment charge, but also the death threats, the threats that have been given to several of these wrestlers, and also the mental torture. But the big news break coming in this hour, that's a big Republic impact, that the WFI boss Brij Bhushan is all set to resign. This, of course, after that aggressive campaigning that continues on Republic to build that pressure on WFI to take some action against the WFI chief. So latest, of course, coming in that the WFI boss Brij Bhushan is all set to resign following that pressure that is being mounted on the WFI to act against the WFI chief. So that's a news break coming in this hour that the WFI chief Brij Bhushan, who's all set to resign following that pressure that has, of course, been building up as a result of that campaigning and the protests being held. The whole country that is demanding action against the WFI for those allegations that have been made by the wrestlers, saying that how they've been sexually harassed, they've been mentally tortured for years, and they've been receiving threats as well from the top officials of the Wrestlers Federation of the country. So that's the big news break coming in that Brij Bhushan, who's all set, Sharad, who's all set to resign. We get more details as to the final details on when is that resignation is set to come in, but that's the news break this hour that the WFI chief is all set to resign. Well, those are the first visuals also coming in right now of Brij Bhushan, who's left from the national capital. He will resign before the committee is what we are picking up at this hour. If Brij Bhushan does not resign on his own, he would be forced to resign. Harsha getting us that news break. We'll try and go across to Harsha as well for more details on that. But a big impact there, this as wrestlers continue to remain up in arms, saying that they will not, in fact, they would continue to protest, and that they would not back until that action is initiated against the WFI chief. So the WFI chief, who's all set to resign, Brij Bhushan Sharad, who's all set to resign from his post. This in the backdrop of the massive pressure that's been building up from across the political lines, from the political spectrum. In fact, several of those sports persons as well who have come out in large numbers to protest against the WFI chief Brij Bhushan. And we have Piyush Mishra also joining us from the national capital. Piyush, when can we exactly expect that resignation to kick in? Because this is, of course, coming in the backdrop of that massive pressure that's been building on the WFI from across the political lines, from across those political spectrum, and the sports persons as well who've been up in arms against the WFI.
Well, certainly what we are now learning, Samiksha, is that there will be a meeting of AGM and executive of this sports body where he will be asked to resign. And if he does not resign, then he will be forced to resign. What we are also learning is that there's a lot of pressure on Brij Bhushan Singh to now put down his papers. He's right now not in national capital, and this decision is now coming soon after the meeting which has now come to an end of wrestlers with the sports secretary. Remember that more than an hour meeting went on of wrestlers with the sports secretary. And after that, the sources have confirmed to us that an emergency meeting has been called in Ayodhya of AGM where Brij Bhushan Singh would be asked to put down his papers. And if he doesn't do that, then he would be forced to do that. That's what we are now learning from our sources. That's a big development which we are right now picking. Remember that there's a lot of pressure on Brij Bhushan Singh as far as the controversy surrounding him is concerned. Remember that not only sexual harassment cases are there against Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh, but also mental harassment. The players have also said that he has been giving the death threats to the players. So the big development which we are right now picking is that after a lot of pressure, we are given to understand is that Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh is likely to put down his papers, and an emergency meeting of AGM has now been called in Ayodhya.
Yes, Piyush, stay with us. So if you can give us more details on this executive meet that has been called on 2nd of January, we're given to understand that Brij Bhushan would resign on the 21st, and that is exactly when that executive meeting starts.
Well, that executive meeting is scheduled on January 21st, 22nd and 23rd. On the very first day, he would be asked to resign, and if he doesn't resign, then he would be forced to resign, and he would be told by the committee members that he will have to resign. This is what the assurance what we are learning is that has also been given to the players, to the wrestlers by the sports ministry. An emergency meeting was also called in by sports secretary, where all the top wrestlers who are protesting there at Jantar Mantar, they were present here. Bajrang Punia, along with Sakshi Malika, they were present here, and after the meeting come to an end, now what we are given to understand is that now Brij Bhushan Singh would be forced to resign, and if he does not resign, then actions will be taken. And remember that sports ministry has already issued a 72 hours deadline to the Wrestling Federation of India, where it has been told to WFI to give a written explanation, to give a written answer as far as this controversy is concerned, and if they do not do so, then the sports ministry will act against them. Also, what we are learning is that the championship which was scheduled to take place in Lucknow, that has also been cancelled. So the big development which we are picking is that Brij Bhushan Singh is likely to resign, and that's on January 21st.
Well, absolutely. Piyush, stay with us. We have Shravan also joining us live right now. Shravan, if you can once again share those details with us, when can we expect the WFI chief to put down his papers?
Well, in fact, there's mounting pressure on the president of the Wrestling Federation, given the fact that not just him, but his family members also face a lot of allegations. The wrestlers have basically come forward with complaints with regards to the functioning of the Wrestling Federation itself. As far as the role of the sports ministry is concerned, they have about 72 hours to give in an explanation into the charges that have been leveled against the Wrestling Federation of India's president. It is in all likelihood that the resignation is expected to come in before the 21st is what we are picking up. Remember, there has been a dialogue that has started between the wrestlers and the government here. In fact, behind me in Shastri Bhavan is where the meeting actually took place, which lasted for a little over an hour is what we are given to understand. And at this point in time, in fact, Samiksha, our reporters on the ground, they're trying to get the information as to what really transpired in that meeting. Because remember, this turns out to become completely unprecedented, given the fact that this kind of a showdown between the both sides in the history of Indian sports has never been seen in the past. And that is exactly why many are now raising this entire question, that is this how our sporting legends are to be really treated? That for over 24 hours now, you have the top sportsmen in our country and who are basically camping out at Jantar Mantar, and they've leveled some very serious allegations. These are allegations that have essentially been leveled against the Wrestling Federation of India and the other sports administrators. And this once again brings in that question whether at all there requires a complete overhaul, a complete cleanup of sports administration in this country. Because at the end of the day, what we have seen that these political links that we've had, not just in the Wrestling Federation, but also in other associations, have only time and again resulted in situations like these.
Well, absolutely, Shravan. That's the question here, that whether this would really assuage the concerns of the wrestlers and whether it would, in a way set a precedent to prevent any such incidents from happening. If you can take us through any more details you're picking from your sources as to whether there is a reshuffle, rejig, or probably a cleanup that is also expected when we talk about the WFI officials.
Well, in fact, we'll just quickly bring in my colleague Harsha, who's been speaking to the sports ministry. In fact, it was the sports secretary who had this dialogue with the wrestlers, led by Bajrang Punia himself. And there are about 2 other wrestlers who were present in that particular meeting. What we do not know right now, Samiksha, is what really transpired, whether there were certain assurances that were really given. But what we know so far in terms of the demands that have been made by the Wrestling Federation, by the wrestlers, before the sports ministry is one, a complete overhaul, because they are saying that these complaints that have surfaced, they're not new. These complaints were filed much earlier without any resolution to the problems that they have been facing. And they're saying that this is not about one case. There are multiple cases. In fact, if you see these cases coming in from states like Madhya Pradesh, from Uttar Pradesh, there are several of athletes who are now coming forward. In fact, when we were present there yesterday at Jantar Mantar, what essentially happened was that when we spoke to some of the senior athletes, they said that they were actually getting in calls from the junior athletes saying that finally someone has decided to take this up and they need justice. In fact, I'll just quickly bring in my colleague Harsha, who's spoken to her sources within the sports ministry to get a sense of what's really happening. Harsha, just a quick response from you with regards to what really happened inside the sports ministry. We given to understand the sports secretary spoke to the wrestlers. Anything that you're picking up?
Exactly, Shaman, what we are getting to the major demand of the athletes was that the Brij Bhushan Sharan should step down from his position and he should resign. Now we are understanding that there's a WFI emergency meeting in Ayodhya between January 21st to 23rd. So we are getting to.
Please, आप बैठ जाइए. भाई बैठ जाओ, भाई. आप बैठ जाइए, प्लीज आपसे रिक्वेस्ट है आप. यार भाई साहब हमारे साथ रहते हैं, हमेशा सपोर्ट करते हैं. मैं मीडिया से भी यही बोलूँगा, आप थोड़ा धैर्य रखिए आप. भाई साहब मैं पुलिस प्रशासन से रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा एक बार. भैया प्लीज बैठ जाओ. भाई आप
बजरंग क्या बात हुई ये बताइए.
अरे बजरंग जी क्या बात हुई.
बजरंग अरे बताओ. अरे बजरंग
मैं मीडिया से रिक्वेस्ट करता हूँ, प्लीज आप रुक जाइए. आप लोगों से हाथ जोड़ के रिक्वेस्ट. मैं मीडिया से रिक्वेस्ट करता हूँ, प्लीज आप रुक जाइए. प्लीज आप लोगों से हाथ जोड़ के बात किया था मैंने. प्लीज मैं मीडिया से रिक्वेस्ट करता हूँ, प्लीज आप पीछे हट जाइए. प्लीज थोड़ा समय दीजिए, माहौल को खराब ना करें प्लीज. ये पैसे पड़े आपके भाई. ये देखिए बजरंग पुनिया जी ने आपको हाथ जोड़ के रिक्वेस्ट करी है. पहले तो मीडिया के मेरे भाई बंधु जितने भी हैं थोड़ा पीछे हो जाइए, और जितने भी पहलवान साथ में खड़े हैं इधर साइड में, ये आगे आ जाओ भाई. जब तक आप लोग आगे नहीं आओगे व्यवस्था नहीं बनेगी. जब तक ये पीछे खड़े हैं पहलवान साथी ये आगे नहीं आएंगे तब तक व्यवस्था नहीं बनेगी. और ये मीडिया के भाई बंधु थोड़ा पीछे हो जाए, इनको बैठने की जगह दे. आपसे सभी बातें शेयर करी जाएंगी, पर लेकिन पहले व्यवस्था बनाइए. भाई पहलवान साथियों आप लोग बैठ जाओ. आप लोग बैठ जाओगे व्यवस्था बन जाएगी. जितने ये पीछे खड़े हैं मेरे भाई, ये पहलवान बैठ जाओ, व्यवस्था अपने आप ठीक हो जाएगी. छोटे बड़े जितने भी मेरे भाई बंधु पहलवान हैं ये अपना स्थान ले लें और कोशिश करो कि सामने की तरफ आ जाओ. ये सामने की तरफ आके बैठ जाए.
अभी कोई प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस नहीं है, प्लीज प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस करें, आप लोगों को बता देंगे जो स्टेज पे जो पहलवान है ना, तो हमारे सपोर्ट में आ रहे, प्लीज आप स्टेज खाली कर दो, प्लीज। आप हमारी लड़ाई में हमारा साथ देने के लिए आए कि व्यवस्था खराब करने के लिए आए, प्लीज आप लोगों से रिक्वेस्ट है, भाई चाहे कोई भी है
भाई गिरा मत अभी जब होगा तो मैं आपका माइक आगे कर दूंगा। बजरंग हम यहाँ सही है सही है सही है पीछे जगह नहीं है आधा तो तुरंत जो करना तुरंत करो।
भाई बंधु आपसे निवेदन है, व्यवस्था बढ़वाना।
आप ना धीरे धीरे ऊपर चढ़ गए आपने आप कहाँ जा रहे हो? अरे इनको आने दो ना, कैमरा को आने दो आगे, इसको आने दो, माइक इसको बुलाना आगे आ जाओ।
तो ये मीडिया के लिए आप थोड़ा पीछे हो जाए, अभी प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस नहीं है, जिस टाइम होगी आपको पहले बता दिया जाएगा, आप व्यवस्था बनवाने दें। रिक्वेस्ट है
परेशान हो रहे पीछे ना खड़े आप पीछे हो जाओ भैया, मैं पीछे खड़ा हूँ। अभी क्या प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस सबको बता दिया था।
So you're looking at these live images right now coming in from the Delhi's Jantar Mantar. We are given to understand that the meeting that the team of wrestlers was having, including Bajrang Punia, at the sports ministry now is over. They've reached, the spot where they have all been sitting on this dharna ever since yesterday, and they will be addressing the media very shortly. But before that happens, let's quickly cut across also to Shavan, who's tracking the story, and he has more details of what really happened in the meeting. Shavan, what are sources indicating? Is there a possible solution that has been reached? Because there are indications that Brij Bhushan is going to be asked to sack, to be sacked. He's going to be resigning. Is that happening? Is there a confirmation to that?
Well, doubt about one fact, and that is, Deepthi, that there is mounting pressure on Brij Bhushan. Essentially coming in not only from the wrestlers, but also the fact that it comes in from the sports ministry itself. Now, what's very important to point out here is the fact that when this meeting actually took place here at the sports ministry, I'll just also give you a sense of the place where we are broadcasting right now from. This is in Shastri Bhavan in the national capital, where the meeting actually took place. Transpired for roughly a little over an hour. This was not basically conducted by the sports minister himself. He's not available. In fact, we are given to understand that he is in Himachal. The dialogue between the wrestlers and the sports ministry happened with the sports secretary. Now, we've got a faint idea of what really happened. More details, our reporters on the ground are trying to get in, whether at all there has been some sort of a compromise formula that has been worked on, or whether at all there is going to be a proper impartial investigation into this entire matter, because it's not only about an overhaul as far as the Wrestling Federation of India is concerned. You are talking about a larger issue, the issue essentially being that of sexual harassment. Let's not dilute that these are allegations not only leveled against the president of the Wrestling Federation of India, but also there are several other coaches. In fact, independently, Deepthi, where our reporters did actually get in touch with a lot of athletes who are certainly wary of coming out in the open, especially in states like Madhya Pradesh, in Uttar Pradesh. We've spoken to a lot of athletes, and all of them have said that this has been going on for several months put together. Some say it's been going on for years. But the difference essentially being that they were all wary of whether at all this can be escalated. And the fact of the matter is that when we spoke to some of the wrestlers in Jantar Mantar yesterday, last evening, when I spoke to them, they said that, look here, who's really running the show? They're being run by politicians four-time parliamentarian, and it is undoubtedly going to become far more difficult. And that's exactly why they did not want to come out in the open, risk their career, and that's the reason why they're saying that they were hoping that the senior athletes essentially take up this entire matter. And that's what is happening right now. When you have a sports icon like Bajrang Punia, when you have a sports icon like Sakshi Malik, then obviously it gives much more weightage to that entire issue. So one, they are obviously asking for a complete overhaul as far as the administration of the Wrestling Federation of India is concerned. And secondly, they're asking that look into this entire allegation that there are coaches who are almost turning out to become predators. And that's the reason why the sports ministry now is giving a deadline of about 72 hours within which an explanation has been asked for. And in all likelihood, there would be more pressure on the president to now resign. Someone who's been very, very defiant. You heard him speaking to our colleague Piyush last evening when he said that if I resign, will it really solve the problem? That's the attitude, the mentality of a man who faces some grave charges.
Absolutely. You know, Shravan, I don't even know why such a long rope is even being given to him, because period, these are, you know, very serious charges, like you said, of sexual exploitation that have been made. And let's not forget, it is not because of these netas that champions are champions, but it's because of these champions that are sitting on the streets today that you have netas holding these positions. I also do see Madhurima, who's reporting from the Jantar Mantar, and we'll continuously stay live with this frame that you're seeing on the extreme right of your screens, because that is where we will have more insight coming in as to what really transpired in that meeting that was held, you know, between representatives of the Wrestlers Federation and also the secretary there at the Sports Ministry. I also do see Dr. Sunita Godra back with us. Thank you, ma'am, for your time, and you're speaking to us on Republic again. And before I go to my colleague Madhurima, Dr. Sunita, if you can hear me, ma'am, I want to know that why should it take so much of an outcry? Why should it take, you know, this effort by champions who should be on the mat and not on the roads for them to be heard? And even now, see, these are reports coming in that Brij Bhushan Singh Saran will be sacked, he'll be asked to go. But, you know, seeing him yesterday, hearing him yesterday will actually tell you that he believes, ma'am, that he is above the game. Dr. Sunita, can you hear us, ma'am?
Yeah. Hello? Yes. Ask me again, because I couldn't hear you.
Yes, ma'am. I was saying, why should it take this big Republic campaign for the authorities, for the federation to wake up? They've been so defiant. They said, you know, all this is nothing but trying to malign us. This is a conspiracy. Why should it take our wrestlers to, you know, be on the streets like this, to break down like this, for the authorities to wake up?
See, the authorities, when now he has been forced to resign, you know, which should have been done yesterday itself. On moral ground, he should have resigned. And yesterday itself, the sports minister could have asked him, Prime Minister could have asked him to resign, because this is the precedent, you know, like when you are accused for sexual harassment, which is a criminal offense, then first thing you leave your post and let the inquiry. Inquiry should go fair and in a proper manner. When you are not on the post, then you cannot influence anyone. First thing. So at least better late than never, you know. And now these stalwarts, whatever they are asking, they are against federation. I met them in the morning. I was not sitting there with them in Dharna, but I met them before that they sat there, you know. So they were saying we are not against government. We are just fighting against the federation because they are becoming dictators. They are harassing mentally, sexually. And, you know, in fact, they told me few incidents. It was so bizarre, you know, that what president does with the girls and all. And they will give all these evidences only to the right authorities. Where are the sexual harassment committees? They should come forward. WCD NCW should come forward, and the sports ministry should come and bombard, like tons of bricks on these federations who are doing such things, because these athletes are the center stage, and these are all medal winners. They are all Olympians, Commonwealth medalists, and Asian Games medalists. So they are not Tom, Dick, and Harry. If they are asking something and they are requesting something, they are putting allegations, then there is something there, which has to be investigated and finish it fast. Like fast track, or maybe faster than the fast track. Otherwise, the whole world is watching us. And the Olympians, the medal winners are asking for something. They are in distress. They are in mental distress. They are putting allegations, sexual harassment, criminal offense. So criminal action has to be taken very fast. They cannot wait for the notices, the FIR, and things like that. So moto action should be taken by the sports ministry, by IOA. PT Usha is sitting quietly. Why? Where is the chief of IOA? Lady, and she's not there with them.
But Dr. Sunita, like they say, the citizens of the country are with our champions. The champions who've been forced to sit there on the streets instead of the mat. What we'll also do is, before we head into a quick break, I want to take it across to Madhurima, who's reporting live right now from the Jantar Mantar, from where you see this constant frame on your screens. Madhurima, what has happened in the last few minutes is that there is, a lot of information now coming in that finally authorities have taken note. If we can also have Madhurima on the screens. Madhurima, what are we hearing? Bajrang Punia was there addressing the crowds. Has he said anything significant? What really are they doing now?
Well, Deepthi, as of now, the crowds are being calmed down here because a very crucial statement is about to come from Bajrang Punia, because he just concluded a very crucial meeting there at the Sports Ministry, and it is highly likely that a decision could have been made, because we've seen, Deepthi, how the news of Brij Bhushan Singh is coming out that he will be made to resign if he doesn't resign, on his own in the first place. And, it is highly, we're all watching as to what Punia has to say, because that is what is important. Stay tuned to Republic TV. We'll be right back after a very short break, keeping you ahead of this news as these wrestlers continue to protest here at Jantar Mantar seeking justice.
When timeless European design meets cutting-edge technology, it's QO. QO, European Bath Lounges.
आप पहुंचते हैं सीमा सुरक्षा बल सर। लास्ट पोस्टिंग बिफोर रिटायरमेंट वाज डीजी बीएसएफ सर।
डीजी बीएसएफ में उन दिनों देखिए सबसे बड़ी चुनौती मेरे लिए थी कश्मीर की। कश्मीर में उस समय
आग लग चुकी थी सर।
हाँ, आग लग चुकी थी, बुरी तरह से लग चुकी थी। बीएसएफ के पैर जम चुके थे, बीएसएफ की धाक थी। मैं सोपोर का दौरा कर रहा था तो वहां मैंने देखा कि दूर कोई झंडा फहरा रहा है। ये किसका झंडा है भाई? उसमें बैनर, उनका सर ये पाकिस्तान का झंडा है। मेरे तो सुनते बदन में आग लग गई कि पाकिस्तान का झंडा मेरे आंख के सामने फहरा रहा है हिंदुस्तान की जमीन पे, ये हो कैसे सकता है? आई वांट दैट दिस प्लेस शुड बी अटैक्ड, द मुजाहिदीन शुड बी डिसलॉज्ड एंड द फ्लैग हैज टू बी टेकन ऑफ।
Indian sport champions continue their protest against the federation. It is a big Republic news break impact. The centre is now likely to form a 3-member committee, sets a 72-hour deadline for the WFI.
और हरियाणा के खिलाड़ी भी ओलंपिक का सपना रखते हैं, वर्ल्ड का सपना रखते हैं, लेकिन ये चाहते हैं कि नहीं, इन्हीं को बार बार मौका दिया जाए। और मैं आपको बताने वाला हूँ, इन किसी खिलाड़ियों का ओलंपिक में मेडल आने वाला नहीं है।
In the dock for harassment charges, Wrestlers Federation of India blames the champions instead.
मेरा बेटा को पुलिस ने भिजाया में सरेंडर कर दिया। बस वो गलत किया तो कर देंगे, बस पुलिस वाला करेंगे।
The Telangana BJP chief remains brazen over his son's assault tape, targets Republic TV now. Open and shocking VVIP racism in Bihar's Buxar. A train is stopped for 15 minutes for the chief minister's convoy.
जेंटलमैन, बॉयज एंड गर्ल्स, जोरदार तालियां हो जाए। ಅಭೂತಪೂರ್ವವಾದ ಕ್ಷಣ. ಸನ್ಮಾನ್ಯ ಪ್ರಧಾನಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ವೆರಿ ಮಚ್.
When timeless European design meets cutting-edge technology, it's QO. QO, European Bath Lounges.
Indian sport champions continue their protest against the federation. It is a big Republic newsbreak impact. The centre is now likely to form a 3-member committee, sets a 72-hour deadline for the WFI.
और हरियाणा के खिलाड़ी भी ओलंपिक का सपना रखते हैं, वर्ल्ड का सपना रखते हैं, लेकिन ये चाहते हैं कि नहीं, इन्हीं को बार बार मौका दिया जाए। और मैं आपको बताने वाला हूँ, इन किसी खिलाड़ियों का ओलंपिक में मेडल आने वाला नहीं है।
In the dock for harassment charges, Wrestlers Federation of India blames the champions instead.
मेरा बेटा को पुलिस ने भिजाया में सरेंडर कर दिया। बस वो गलत किया तो कर देंगे, बस पुलिस वाले करेंगे।
The Telangana BJP chief remains brazen over his son's assault tape, targets Republic TV now. Open and shocking VVIP racism in Bihar's Buxar. A train is stopped for 15 minutes for the chief minister's convoy. The Prime Minister is to visit Maharashtra and Karnataka, set to inaugurate mega development projects.
Fulfilling 5.5 years of my life, but it has also had its challenges. Amongst an agenda focused on housing, child poverty and climate change, we encountered a major biosecurity incursion, a domestic terror event, a major natural disaster, a global pandemic and an economic crisis. The decisions that have had to be made have been continual and they have been weighty. But I'm not leaving because it was hard. Had that been the case, I probably would have departed 2 months into the job. I am leaving because with such a privileged role comes responsibility. The responsibility to know when you are the right person to lead and also when you are not. I know what this job takes, and I know that I no longer have enough in the tank to do it justice. It's that simple.
Right now I'm reporting from the Jantar Mantar of National Capital, and behind me are the wrestlers who are protesting at this point in time. You can see Bajrang Punia sitting there, you can see many other faces who are very known and have got a medal for the country, and they want the federation to be changed.
आप पहुंचते हैं सीमा सुरक्षा बल सर। लास्ट पोस्टिंग बिफोर रिटायरमेंट वाज डीजीबीएसएफ सर।
डीजीबीएसएफ में उन दिनों देखिए सबसे बड़ी चुनौती मेरे लिए थी कश्मीर की। कश्मीर में उस समय
आग लग चुकी थी सर।
हाँ, आग लग चुकी थी, बुरी तरह से लग चुकी थी। बीएसएफ के पैर जम चुके थे, बीएसएफ की धाक थी। मैं सोपोर का दौरा कर रहा था तो वहां मैंने देखा कि दूर कोई झंडा फहरा रहा है। ये किसका झंडा है भाई? उसने बैनर, उनका सर ये पाकिस्तान का झंडा है। मेरे तो सुनते बदन में आग लग गई कि पाकिस्तान का झंडा मेरे आंख के सामने फहरा रहा है, हिंदुस्तान की जमीन पे ये हो कैसे सकता है? आई वांट दैट दिस प्लेस शुड बी अटैक्ड, द मुजाहिदीन शुड बी डिसलॉज्ड एंड द फ्लैग हैज टू बी टेकन ऑफ.
Indian sport champions continue their protest against the federation. It is a big Republic newsbreak impact. The centre is now likely to form a 3-member committee, sets a 72-hour deadline for the WFI.
And breaking news, we are learning that 4 people have been rescued after a major fire broke out in a building in the Sikandrabad district of Telangana. This happened on Thursday. You see these images of a little earlier today. It was a massive fire. You see that smoke billowing out. The fire department, the disaster response force, all were rushed to the area as soon as the information was received. Now, what the police says is that a fire broke out in the Ram Gopalpet police station limits. 4 people have been rescued, and they also say right now that they are not sure whether everyone has been evacuated out of that building that you see on your screens right now. But the cause of the fire is still not known. On the other side of this break, we get you more detail.
When timeless European design meets cutting-edge technology, it's QO. QO, European bath lounges.
Fulfilling 5.5 years of my life, but it has also had its challenges. Amongst an agenda focused on housing, child poverty and climate change, we encountered a major biosecurity incursion, a domestic terror event, a major natural disaster, a global pandemic and an economic crisis. The decisions that have had to be made have been continual and they have been weighty. But I'm not leaving because it was hard. Had that been the case, I probably would have departed 2 months into the job. I am leaving because with such a privileged role comes responsibility. The responsibility to know when you are the right person to lead and also when you are not. I know what this job takes, and I know that I no longer have enough in the tank to do it justice. It's that simple.
Right now I'm reporting from the Jantar Mantar of National Capital, and behind me are the wrestlers who are protesting at this point in time. You can see Bajrang Punia sitting there, you can see many other faces who are very known and have got a medal for the country, and they want the federation to be changed.
आप पहुंचते हैं सीमा सुरक्षा बल सर। लास्ट पोस्टिंग बिफोर रिटायरमेंट वाज डीजीबीएसएफ सर।
डीजीबीएसएफ में उन दिनों देखिए सबसे बड़ी चुनौती मेरे लिए थी कश्मीर की। कश्मीर में उस समय
आग लग चुकी थी सर।
हाँ, आग लग चुकी थी, बुरी तरह से लग चुकी थी। बीएसएफ के पैर जम चुके थे, बीएसएफ की धाक थी। मैं सोपोर का दौरा कर रहा था तो वहां मैंने देखा कि दूर कोई झंडा फहरा रहा है। ये किसका झंडा है भाई? उसने बैनर, उनका सर ये पाकिस्तान का झंडा है। मेरे तो सुनते बदन में आग लग गई कि पाकिस्तान का झंडा मेरे आंख के सामने फहरा रहा है हिंदुस्तान की जमीन पे, ये हो कैसे सकता है? आई वांट दैट दिस प्लेस शुड बी अटैक्ड, द मुजाहिदीन शुड बी डिसलॉज्ड एंड द फ्लैग हैज टू बी टेकन ऑफ।
Indian sport champions continue their protest against the federation. It is a big Republic news break impact. The centre is now likely to form a 3-member committee, sets a 72-hour deadline for the WFI.
और हरियाणा के खिलाड़ी भी ओलंपिक का सपना रखते हैं, वर्ल्ड का सपना रखते हैं, लेकिन ये चाहते हैं कि नहीं, इन्हीं को बार बार मौका दिया जाए। और मैं आपको बताने वाला हूँ, इन किसी खिलाड़ियों का अब ओलंपिक में मेडल आने वाला नहीं है।
In the dock for harassment charges, Wrestlers Federation of India blames the champions instead.
मेरा बेटा को पुलिस ने भिजाया में सरेंडर कर दिया। बस वो गलत किया तो कर देंगे, बस पुलिस वाले करेंगे।
The Telangana BJP chief remains brazen over his son's assault tape, targets Republic TV now. Open and shocking VVIP racism in Bihar's Buxar. A train is stopped for 15 minutes for the chief minister's convoy. The Prime Minister is to visit Maharashtra and Karnataka, set to inaugurate mega development projects.
ये वो क्या कमिंग अप है या लाइव है? Well, as you are seeing right now, the fire accident which has now been reported from Secunderabad, where a major fire has broken out in one of the buildings in Secunderabad. Well, fire officials have now reached the spot and they are trying to bring the situation under control. However, what the officials say is that near about 4 people have been rescued who were inside the building, and still we see that the smoke is coming out from the building, and also at the same time now we see that the fire officials, police department officials are at the spot in Secunderabad, where we see that a major fire has broken out. We'll be right back after a short break. Keep watching Republic TV.
Right now I'm reporting from the Jantar Mantar of National Capital, and behind me are the wrestlers who are protesting at this point in time. You can see Bajrang sitting there, you can see many other faces who are very known and have got a medal for the country, and they want the federation to be changed.
आप पहुंचते हैं सीमा सुरक्षा बल सर। लास्ट पोस्टिंग बिफोर रिटायरमेंट वाज डीजीबीएसएफ सर।
डीजीबीएसएफ में उन दिनों देखिए सबसे बड़ी चुनौती मेरे लिए थी कश्मीर की। कश्मीर में उस समय
आग लग चुकी थी सर।
हाँ, आग लग चुकी थी, बुरी तरह से लग चुकी थी। बीएसएफ के पैर जम चुके थे, बीएसएफ की धाक थी। मैं सोपोर का दौरा कर रहा था तो वहां मैंने देखा कि दूर कोई झंडा फहरा रहा है। ये किसका झंडा है भाई? उसमें बैनर, उनका सर ये पाकिस्तान का झंडा है। मेरे तो सुनते बदन में आग लग गई कि पाकिस्तान का झंडा मेरे आंख के सामने फहरा रहा है हिंदुस्तान की जमीन पे, ये हो कैसे सकता है? आई वांट दैट दिस प्लेस शुड बी अटैक्ड, द मुजाहिदीन शुड बी डिसलॉज्ड एंड द फ्लैग हैज टू बी टेकन ऑफ।
Indian sport champions continue their protest against the federation. It is a big Republic news break impact. The centre is now likely to form a 3-member committee, sets a 72-hour deadline for the WFI.
और हरियाणा के खिलाड़ी भी ओलंपिक का सपना रखते हैं, वर्ल्ड का सपना रखते हैं, लेकिन ये चाहते हैं कि नहीं, इन्हीं को बार बार मौका दिया जाए। और मैं आपको बताने वाला हूँ, इन किसी खिलाड़ियों का ओलंपिक में मेडल आने वाला नहीं है।
In the dock for harassment charges, Wrestlers Federation of India blames the champions instead.
मेरा बेटा को पुलिस ने भिजाया में सरेंडर कर दिया। बस वो गलत किया तो कर देंगे, बस पुलिस वाला करेंगे।
The Telangana BJP chief remains brazen over his son's assault tape, targets Republic TV now. Open and shocking VVIP racism in Bihar's Buxar. A train is stopped.
Information about 2.5-3 hours ago that there is a fire in this Ram Gopalpet police station area. So this is basically a commercial complex, and as per the information what we have got, inside this commercial building there is a lot of fabric material, especially knitwear, and the fabric and knitwear is very prone to fire. So any small spark or anything can also start the fire. So immediately the police personnel, they have reached the spot. Similarly,
आप पहुंचते हैं सीमा सुरक्षा बल सर। लास्ट पोस्टिंग बिफोर रिटायरमेंट वाज डीजीबीएसएफ सर।
डीजीबीएसएफ में उन दिनों देखिए सबसे बड़ी चुनौती मेरे लिए थी कश्मीर की। कश्मीर में उस समय
आग लग चुकी थी सर।
हाँ, आग लग चुकी थी, बुरी तरह से लग चुकी थी। बीएसएफ के पैर जम चुके थे, बीएसएफ की धाक थी। मैं सोपोर का दौरा कर रहा था तो वहां मैंने देखा कि दूर कोई झंडा फहरा रहा है। ये किसका झंडा है भाई? उसमें बैनर, उनका सर ये पाकिस्तान का झंडा है। मेरे तो सुनते बदन में आग लग गई कि पाकिस्तान का झंडा मेरे आंख के सामने फहरा रहा है हिंदुस्तान की जमीन पे, ये हो कैसे सकता है? आई वांट दैट दिस प्लेस शुड बी अटैक्ड, द मुजाहिदीन शुड बी डिसलॉज्ड एंड द फ्लैग हैज टू बी टेकन ऑफ।
Indian sport champions continue their protest against the federation. It is a big Republic news break impact. The centre is now likely to form a 3-member committee, sets a 72-hour deadline for the WFI.
और हरियाणा के खिलाड़ी भी ओलंपिक का सपना रखते हैं, वर्ल्ड का सपना रखते हैं, लेकिन ये चाहते हैं कि नहीं, इन्हीं को बार बार मौका दिया जाए। और मैं आपको बताने वाला हूँ, इन किसी खिलाड़ियों का ओलंपिक में मेडल आने वाला नहीं है।
In the dock for harassment charges, Wrestlers Federation of India blames the champions instead.
मेरा बेटा को पुलिस ने भिजाया में सरेंडर कर दिया। बस वो गलत किया तो कर देंगे, बस पुलिस वाला करेंगे।
The Telangana BJP chief remains brazen over his son's assault tape, targets Republic TV now. Open and shocking VVIP racism in Bihar's Buxar. A train is stopped for 15 minutes for the chief minister's convoy. The Prime Minister is to visit Maharashtra and Karnataka, set to inaugurate mega development projects.
Filling 5.5 years of my life.
Republic 48.3%. 374% more viewership than News 18 in super prime time. Content supremacy has destroyed the landing experiment. Republic TV, voice of the people.
Viewers, a very good evening. You're watching Republic TV, India's #1 news channel. I'm Shivangi Shukla and we're getting you top updates at this point of time. Let's start with the headlines we're tracking at this point of time. Big impact of Republic campaign. Wrestling Federation chief set to resign. Massive victory for sporting icons. Wrestlers meet sports ministry panel. Resignation amid pressure. When will the WFI boss be arrested over the serious allegations? Delhi Women Commission chief sexually harassed on the streets of capital while inspecting women's safety. Prime Minister Modi leads election campaign, inaugurates projects in Karnataka, set to reach Mumbai next. Viewers, a shocking case has now come to light in the national capital. DCW chief Swati Maliwal has said that she was dragged 10 to 15 meters in the middle of the night outside AIIMS. A very, very shocking incident has transpired, viewers. And her hand got stuck in a car and the driver, who was not even, he was drunk, he was not even in his right senses. This incident happened to Swati Maliwal. She's a chief of the Women's Commission in Delhi. And she has tweeted, viewers, that if something like this could happen to her, imagine when it comes to safety, when it comes to women's safety, when it comes to women being safe in the capital, what is the situation? It's a very, very shocking allegation which has come in right now from Swati Maliwal. She has tweeted it out as well. A late night that she was inspecting the situation of women's security in Delhi. And while she was inspecting that situation, something very, very terrible took place where she was dragged. The sexual assault case as well, which has transpired, viewers. The Delhi police has arrested the driver. They've arrested the driver right now, and we also know that when the DCW chief confronted the driver, that's when this incident transpired. She has tweeted it out as well. She's saying that कल रात में दिल्ली में महिला सुरक्षा के हालात इंस्पेक्ट कर रही थी. एक गाड़ी वाले ने नशे की हालत में मुझे छेड़छाड़ की और जब मैंने उसे पकड़ा तो गाड़ी के शीशे में मेरा हाथ बंद कर मुझे घसीटा. Okay, let's go ahead and play out the reactions coming in.
कल रात मैं दिल्ली की सड़कों का इंस्पेक्शन कर रही थी क्योंकि मैं ये जायजा लेना चाहती थी कि क्या सच में जो बड़े बड़े वादे किए जाते हैं कि दिल्ली महिलाओं के लिए अब सुरक्षित कर दी गई है वो सच है या नहीं। तो मैं अलग अलग एरियाज में दिल्ली के जाकर इंस्पेक्शन कर रही थी और मैं अकेले खड़ी थी ये देखने के लिए कि रात में एक अकेली लड़की को क्या क्या फेस करना पड़ता है दिल्ली देश की राजधानी में। मैं एम्स के बस स्टॉप के ऑपोजिट खड़ी थी और वहां पे गाड़ियां आके रुकने लग गई, ट्रक आके रुके और एक गाड़ी ने तो हद कर दी। वो आदमी अपनी व्हाइट बलेनो में आया, मेरे पास खड़ा हुआ, उसने अपनी गाड़ी पार्क करी और उसने मुझे बार बार बोला कि मैं उसकी गाड़ी में बैठ जाऊं और वो मुझे ड्रॉप कर देगा। जब मैंने उसे मना करा कि मुझे उसकी हेल्प की जरूरत नहीं है और मेरे रिलेटिव्स आ रहे हैं और वो चला जाए, तो वो बार बार मुझे फोर्स करने लगा और उसके बाद गुस्से में वो चला गया। लेकिन 10 मिनट के बाद वो वापस वहीं पे पहुंचा और वापस मुझे पेस्टर करा, बार बार फोर्स करने लगा। और जब मैंने इस बार उसको मना करा तो उसने बहुत गंदे गंदे इशारे मेरे को करे। मैंने जब उसको पकड़ने की कोशिश करी तो उसने विंडो ऊपर कर दी अपनी गाड़ी की और मेरा हाथ उसकी गाड़ी के अंदर फंस गया और वो देख रहा था, उसे पता था, वो नशे में धुत था, फिर भी उसने एक्सेलरेटर पे पैर रखा और गाड़ी भगा के वो लेकर जाने लगा, जिसकी वजह से मैं कई मीटर तक घिसटते हुए गई हूँ उस गाड़ी के साथ। मैं चिल्ला रही थी, इतने में मेरी टीम के और लोग भी आए, उन्होंने भी चिल्लाया, तब जाकर उस आदमी ने मुझे छोड़ा। नहीं तो शायद मैं भी आज अंजलि की तरह, मेरे साथ भी वही होता जो अंजलि के साथ हुआ। ये दिल्ली है, देश की राजधानी है। हम रोज लड़ते हैं और रोज ये सवाल उठाते हैं इस सिस्टम से कि कब सुरक्षा होगी। तो दिल्ली महिला आयोग तो अपना काम करेगा। हम कोई ऐसा ऑफिस नहीं है जो एयर कंडीशन से चलता हो। हम वही ऑफिस हैं जो दिन में भी काम करेंगे, रात में गश्त भी लगाएंगे और तब तक ये सवाल पूछेंगे इस पूरे सिस्टम से जब तक महिलाएं एक्चुअली में दिल्ली में सुरक्षित नहीं होती। मुझे बहुत दुख है कि इतना काम हम कर रहे हैं और उसके बावजूद दिल्ली महिला आयोग पर इस तरीके के अटैक्स होते हैं। डेथ थ्रेट मिली है मुझे, रेप थ्रेट्स मिले हैं मुझे और कई बार अटैक हुए हैं और इस बार तो बिल्कुल मुझे भगवान ने ही बचाया है। लेकिन जिन लोगों को लगता है कि इन सब चीजों से हम डर जाएंगे, तो मैं बोल दूं हम बिल्कुल डरने वाले नहीं हैं। येस, आई एम वेरी ट्रॉमेटाइज्ड आफ्टर द इंसिडेंट, बट आई विल कंटिन्यू द फाइट।
आज सुबह अर्ली मॉर्निंग 3:11 पे पीसीआर कंट्रोल रूम से हौस खास पुलिस स्टेशन में एक कॉल मिली। कॉल के अनुसार एम्स बस स्टॉप के बैक साइड गाड़ी नंबर बलिनो वाइट कलर वाले ने लेडी की तरफ गलत इशारे किए हैं और लेडी को घसीटा है, पर लेडी बच गई। इस मामले में इमीडिएट रिस्पांस था डिस्ट्रिक्ट की जो पीसीआर वैन्स हैं और हमारे डिस्ट्रिक्ट में 5 गरुड़ा व्हीकल्स हैं जो रात में और दिन में स्पेशल इनकी पेट्रोलिंग स्कीम है। बेसिकली इसमें जो लेडी थी उनको आइडेंटिफाई किया गया स्वाति मालीवाल के तौर पे। ये कोटला के एरिया में एम्स का जो गेट नंबर 2 है उसके ऑपोजिट साइड किदवई नगर के एरिया में, जो कि कोटला के जुरिस्डिक्शन में आता है, वहाँ खड़ी थी अपनी टीम के साथ। इनकी टीम थोड़े डिस्टेंस पे थी। ये थी इनके अनुसार 2:45 बजे के आसपास ये फुटपाथ पे जब खड़ी थी तो एक गाड़ी आई सफ़ेद रंग की। गाड़ी वाले में एक अकेला ड्राइवर था। ड्राइवर ने इनको बोला कि कहीं छोड़ दें, इनको लिफ्ट देने का ऑफ़र किया और इनको इंसिस्ट किया कि ये गाड़ी में बैठें। इन्होंने मना किया। इसके बाद ड्राइवर ने इनको गलत तरीके से देखा इनकी कंप्लेंट के अनुसार और सब्सिक्वेंटली गाड़ी।
Alright, viewers, let's go to the other top story we're tracking right now, and that is what is happening. India's top players have alleged, wrestling players who have got medals for India, players who have made every Indian proud, players who have excelled in the sport. Those players are saying that they have been sexually assaulted and they're continuing their protest. They're saying they want the removal of the WFI boss, the top boss. In fact, it's a big Republic impact, a big campaign by Republic where we highlighted the issues that the wrestlers were facing, and now we know that now the WFI boss is going to put in his papers. He will resign. The champions are fighting back, and soon I'll be joined by my reporters of Republic TV. We have Madhurima, we have Shravan as well. We're going to Shravan a little bit later, but let's go to Madhurima first. Madhurima, good evening to you. You are right over there. You are where the action is happening, the protests are happening. You have been covering the story since morning. Take our viewers through what's the latest coming in, because it's a big Republic impact, Madhurima. that right now, after so much of pressure being put, we are seeing that the WFI boss is going to resign. That's what we are hearing.
Well, absolutely, Shivangi. We here at Republic TV have been consistently pressing upon the demands that have been put forth by the wrestlers, for demands that have been put up by our pride. And I'll take you to the visuals as I speak, as Bajrang Punia is about to address the media any time. But as you were pointing out, the biggest update in this entire matter is that of the WFI boss will be sacked soon. If he doesn't really put down his papers in this executive meeting that has been called, he will be asked to put down his paper and and will be asked to resign, Shivangi. But this entire aggravated atmosphere around me, as you can see that the number of people, yesterday there were around a handful of people, around 40-50, but you can see today in hundreds the wrestlers from across the country have poured in because they demand justice, and the allegations that have been put forth are of very serious nature. And looking at the performance of the wrestlers in our country, it is indeed the crown jewel of sports. If we speak about the performance even in the Commonwealth Games or even at the Tokyo Olympics, we saw that how well did these wrestlers performed, and now that they have been forced to come down to the streets here at Jantar Mantar in the national capital, it is indeed a matter of worry, and which is why we saw that even a meeting was held between the sports ministry officials and these wrestlers over here. Bajrang Punia, Sakshi Malik all went to the sports ministry, and there was a detailed meeting held for over an hour where all these points, tenets were tabled, the demands were tabled. We'll have to see as to what really happens, but the government has already taken some serious cognizance of the entire matter, where they have given 72 hours to WFI to respond to these serious allegations being put by these athletes, over here, these wrestlers over here, and that they are asking for. Now I'm joined by editor Shravan Sen. As you can see that a lot is happening here since morning. The entire demand still remains the same, and they are still pressing upon those demands to be fulfilled, and there's soon going to be a meeting over here.
Well, in fact, what you're seeing right now, what's really happening is that with that particular meeting that actually took place,
right now, we are learning that Shankar Mishra will be banned for 4 months in Air India. Other flights also to follow after the DGCA. So this is what we're getting for you right now. Viewers, moving away a little bit for a short while from the wrestlers' protest. Just being here on the story right now. This is the Air India. This is the Air India P-gate accused we're talking about over here, viewers. Blanket ban on the Air India P-gate accused. We know that 4 months ban. Let's go to Shravan, who's joining us right now. Shravan, I'm just coming to you right now. Big impact as well by Republic. Shankar Mishra banned for 4 months.
well, in fact, that's the latest now coming in for a story that we have been tracking very closely. P-gate accused Shankar Mishra has finally been banned. I'm given to understand Madhurima is also getting in some more details coming in from the Aviation Ministry. What's the latest that you're picking up, Madhurima?
Well, Shravan, it's a very big